Hello, I'm Jamie, and this is Tradespotting, where today we're going to talk about GME and AMC. Welcome to the show.
We're only making plans for Nigel. We only want what's best for him. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel just needs that helping hand. And if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel. He has this future in a British steel. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel's whole future is as good as sealed. Yeah, and if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy in his world. Nigel is a nice spoken man, he likes to speak and he loves to be spoken to. Nigel is happy in his world. Nigel is happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel. We only want what's best for him. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel just needs this helping hand. And if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel. We only want what's best for him. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel just needs this helping hand. We're only making plans for Nigel. He has this future in a British steel. Steel, 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 yeah. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel, 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 Nigel,
Yes, Nigel. Yes, that's who we're making plans for, Nigel. And if he says he's happy, well, he must be happy. He must be happy if he says he is. Evening, Kim. Evening, Peter. Evening, Ashley. Evening Wolfric, Jen, Varley, Katie Babes, JCC, CPD, the man. He is the first to notice. He noticed my lovely little crayon. He noticed. And the beast KT, H. Jones, evening teach. Dan, you can call me sir. Dan, good evening, my lord, Tradespotting. Good evening, Dan. D, hope you're well, buddy. You too, my friend. Hey, Space. Simone, Mike. Super me or maybe not. Free cookies. Oh yeah, I like it. So this one goes out to Nigel. All the Nigels out there, this goes out to you. And if you don't know what 70s, good 70s music is, I'm sorry, but you're going to learn over the next few weeks. Tradespotting evening. Thank you very much. Tradespotting looking so full of life today. Am I the answer to the treasure hunt? No, you're not. Ha ha ha! No. Kitty babes, you're not the answer to the treasure hunt. You are a treasure, though. You are. You're a right little treasure. But you're not treasure to treasure. You're not a treasure hunt answer. And thanks for the compliment. I just came off a stream with Josh. Josh, you'll know Josh. He was on the channel there last week. He's a lovely guy. And he's writing the When Moon book. He's got a podcast with some very distinguished guest on there. And he told me, I don't know if he was trying to blow hot air up my skirt or what, but he was telling me that I was the most requested guest on his show with regards to the GME, which is really good news to hear. Thank you for all of you guys, because that's you guys doing that, saying, yo, get Tradespotting on, and it all really helps. That's how I met Josh and lots of other people. Thank you very much. How I met Pickle, that was fun. Oh, Gurk. I don't know, he's got so many names, who knows what they are. A is right, A is a bad word. A is a bad word, is it? Yes, A is a bad word. Okay. What else is a bad word? Kenny G. Kenny G is a fucking bad word around here, fucker. Yeah, that's true story. True story. So, are you going to give us some tea today instead of just being abusive all the time, huh? Abusive? Yeah. No. No, fuck off. Okay, well, that's what you get. That's what you get. I treasure you guys. Aww. G'day, Doomslayers. Hot air up your kilt, or is it a skirt? Tradespotting. Yes, in Scotland we wear kilts. We wear the kilts. I've got one on at the minute. No, you haven't. Yes, I have. Stop saying that sort of shit. No, you haven't. Okay. Well, maybe, maybe. So the 20,000th stream or something, when I get 20,000 subscribers, we'll do like some sort of kilt show, but I can imagine that'll make me never get to 20,000 subscribers. Plus, you don't really want to look up my kilt. You don't. It's not polite. I reached out to Josh on your behalf. He's great. Glad you guys got together. Thanks, D. Yes, he is such a nice guy, and he knows his shit. He's articulate, trenchant, and communicates in a very piercing way. I think he's a total legend, and it's good to have people like him on your side. That's for sure. We are lucky. They're letting sock puppets tell the future. Fried eggplant. They've been letting sock puppets do far too much for far too long. It is stock puppet here to rule them all, to clear the temple of these false bastards. And the truth is that guy, that stock puppet, is better at TA than half the fuckers on the YouTubes. That's a fucking truth. Spies tanking. Well, it's down 0.5%. It's had that brutal half an hour so far. It must be happy. He must be happy in his world. Well, there you can see it's such a 200 period moving average. It's a wick. Such a 200 period moving average. There it is below it, the wick. And then it's rested out on it again, on top of it. And it's a bit brutal. Yeah, that's very bad. That's very bad. Here's your support level where it'll probably finish this 30-minute candle, which has got 11 minutes left. So, who knows, right? I mean, finishing above there is like not very speaking to very much, right? Like it's already touched there. And 200 period average on the 30 minutes means less than nothing. Then 1 hour is where it means something, and this is where it is. And oh, that'll be nice. That'll be a nice move if it gets there. I'll tell you, that's at least 1%. At least 1%. And on SPY, 1% gets people shit in the bed. It's in this huge wedge. This is definitely a wedge. It is definitely highly divergent, and it looks to me to be in great danger. But what does SPY do when it looks like it's in great danger? Well, it likes to bounce. It really does. 1, 2, 3. 3 important bounces, put in 3 important levels of support at that stage, tested them, and gave them significance. Then you can see it did it twice on this level below here. I know you're on the hourly and you're significantly below the 200 there, but this is where the demand line comes in on this upward sloping wedge. Tradespotting, the pointing is blocked by your head. I need to get into that other live scene, which I've named Corner Cam. Thanks, Space. We can't frickin' see, Jamie. Your head is in the way. Boom. Da-da-da-da-da. Well, if I go like this, look. Woo. Now my head's not in the way anymore. Look, it kind of actually quite conveniently drips over my head like a hat. I am Mr. Spy. That name again is Mr. Spy. Look, I've got a flat head. Spy. There you go. Yeah, so as you can see, right, 3 important touches on this demand line. This will signify where areas of demand come in, because it's just that, right? You go on the weekly though, you can see like, yeah, I mean, it fits around things. It's not very significant with regard to price action. You'd be looking at price action, you'd say, well, it's just a continuation of this trend that's been on for ages, and you'd say, like, maybe that's not the pattern. Maybe it's like, there's your demand line, something like that. That's only got 2 touches, right? So that literally doesn't mean anything. It's just made up, right? Looks good, but it's got 1, 2 touches. I mean, you're going to take it back here and say 1, 2 touches, 3 touches, maybe 4, and then you're like, all right, cool, I'd let you away with that. But also, it's just not really useful. And then you're going to draw your top line on this, then it's a channel, and then it's very bullish. Or you're going to draw your top line coming across here, in which case you say 1 touch and then multitude of touches up here, and you'd say that's bearish. So what happens with this? Either it works out, and those sort of things have about 62% chance of working out, or it moves up to something like this here, which would be a failure, or alternatively it just moves up in a channel like that, equidistant all the way from its demand line to its supply line, and constantly goes through these motions, rising. That's often what happens. That's what's been happening for a long time, because there's plenty of occasions where you might have wanted to draw a wedge around this, or to draw an inverted head and shoulders, or to draw alternatively a head and shoulders, and what you come away thinking is none of those were the dominant pattern, and it's still in this channel, which it has been for a number of times. And you'll remember famous people, famous for going short, people whose whole life is built on the fact that they believe you should go short because they so desperately want to believe in the efficient market hypothesis, and they're so desperate to prove that they're smart because they haven't got any internal validation. People like Michael Burry, who'll have gone short at places like this here, right? These highs, talking about how fucked it all was, and and actually it was just his stupid ass way of talking and his stupid ass way of thinking, and he puts this negative message out, and he gets his Twitter back, and he tweets, and then all of his fanboys are like, "Well, I think it's going to drop too. Quickly, Michael Burry tweeted. Oh, wow." So you don't want to be one of them fannies. So you don't buy into the disaster narrative until the charts tell you it's a fucking disaster, mate. And what did the charts say? Well, above the 50 period moving average, there's on the weekly chart, right? You're going quite far out there, but like, let's drop down to something more easy to talk about. Say 50 period moving average on the daily time frame comes in around the bottom of where this formation is, this wedge. It's likely if you get there, prices bounce 433 spot 37. It's at 442 at the minute, spot 44. Is that a world ending move? Nope. Is it really that significant? Nope. People talk about how we pulled out of Afghanistan. I don't know, right, what it looks like where you are from the country you're in, but where I'm sitting, that's a fucking disgrace what's happened with that situation. It's the 4th or 5th time it's happened in the last few hundred years, and it's a complete and utter tragedy. It's a fucking disgrace. Are we seeing it on the charts here? Not really yet. that huge incompetence. Now, I'm not speaking politically because I couldn't give a flying fuck. I'm talking about the natural tragedy of events, which has been ushered in by fucking bastards. And it's a disgraceful way that whole situation has ended. It's not actually reflected on any crazy change in the charts here, right? It isn't. But we'll see how that goes in both senses over the next while. And yeah, enough said about that for now, but fucking anyway, right, so you're looking at a 433 retest down here, and of the 50 period moving average, it's done it once, twice, 3 times, and each of those occasions it's proved significant. Once on a wick, there on the body close, here with a gap underneath, opening below it, then moving straight above it again. Here, exactly the same story, but with regards to the 36 period moving average, exponential, whereas your 50 simple was the wick low again, and then here we're currently on the 18 period moving average, right? That's very bullish. I know you're on the daily time frame, so you could say, like, let's slip that in and say it's the 8 period. If you did, you'd probably be just below it. Let's do that right now. Yeah, and that's something worthwhile looking at for the next wee while, is whether or not this manages to reclaim that 18 period moving average, 8 period moving average, because you can see it's very good at tracing the trend here on the daily time frame. Very good. When you're above it, you're generally speaking going up until you've put in a new high. Above it, put in a new high, test down at this bottom side of the formation, you're above it, put in a new high, same situation. In fact, quite commonly you'll put in 2 new highs, 1, 2, 1, 2, before you get another test. So is it all that crazy to see it? Well, not really, if you think about the amount of time in between these sort of drops down. Let's take it from the very first one. That was 27 bars. If we take it from this one to here, that was 22 bars. And now we're at 20 bars. So on daily time frame, you know, if it continues in that cycle, it's likely to keep going down a little bit, and I'd expect it to drop below this 8 period moving average, stay below it on the daily close. On the 4 hour, you can see it's the same story. It's catching the very tops of the body closes. You've got the 36 period below you there, and the 50 comes in at that period of that area of support where you've got your first opportunity for a decent long. Below there, that's again, as I say, at 4. What is that? Comes in at around, what says it here, 438 spot 73. And then down below that you're looking at 440, and then below that again you're looking at a test of this lower level of this wedge. And all 3 of those could be moves that you may want to take. Distance on them works if you've got the right stop, and you can definitely trade that for money. But how you would play it exactly is up to you, bearing those things in mind. Let's drop down to the 15 minutes and see what happened. Well, most recently it's recovered. That's not bullish wick with a lower open on the body, lower close on the body, and being caught below the 8 period moving average on the 15 minute. That would be really crap. That test, where is that? It was not a significant body close with regards to horizontals. It's below this level. It's failed in this inversion here of the pattern. That high between this one, boom, there's your divergence coming out there, and then more strongly again here. Not even making it back into the bullish control zone. Black, you're below your EMA, back below the center line. Not even done a test as it has done here of these 2 low levels. I expect to see the prices push down a bit again. We'll see. We shall see. But that is the intro to SPY. Can you get warmed up there a little bit, and we'll do a TA on the things that we really care about in a second. Haha. So SPY is down 0.22%. GME is down 2.92% at 158.78 below this 8 period moving average. AMC up just under 1%, holding above this breakout zone. So very important, doing really well there. Nothing to worry about with regards to the RSI. Good accumulation here, now making it above the center line again, going on. That's very positive. This test of this area, having tested the 618, falling back into your channel and then being back above it is gain, is very good, especially if you consider this to be a wedge and you're thinking about the breakout moves and whatnot. But what you really need to see is AMC breaking above that 38.90 level. That's what it needs to do. It needs to break it and hold it. Ideally it would do it on a 4 hour, but even a 1 hour at this stage, because of the amount of tests it's put in, how well it's done, I'd suggest that it goes on. We'll see. If 1 hour open close, which would mean it needs to get above it, and then in the subsequent hour after it's closed above it, because that'll dictate where it opens. You know, highly liquid market, it will be traded most minutes and most seconds of every day that's open. You'll be seeing it there open likely at the next candle also above it, and then if that one's also closes, then congratulations. On the hourly you can see one's open and closed. This one, if it goes up a little bit more, that would be positive. It is a lower high. You can see you've got lower strength on your RSI. You can see that if that was a move there and that was the extension of it, your top right at the top of your bullish control zone, coming back down, accumulating below it isn't bad at all. I'd like to see that candle then move up a little bit and us close on AMC above 37.74. Same thing I've been saying for a while now. An hourly close opening above 3774, open and close above. This was close but no cigar, and then this did never opened and closed above it here. So you want to see it do that, but to do that you would want to see this RSI take off a bit more and go higher. Now that's perhaps something you would see, because when it does spike up it really goes for it, but it hasn't been like that for a while, and in our most recent past our RSI is kind of topped out around here on AMC, so that would fit with what we see. The price action mirrors the signature you've got in RSI, and subsequent to all of those previous moves, prices have come down and touched the bottom of the channel again. That's at 24.99. Now I know there's lots of other information out there with regards to AMC about different people increasing the position, X, Y and Z going long, people you can and can't trust talking about it, people you can and can't trust talking about their positions, and the news all seems very, very bullish. And I can understand why, if you felt like that, you would have, you know, if you've only been listening to that type of information, you would feel very, very bullish. And that chart, if it opens and closes significant time frames above the top of that downward sloping resistance on the diagonal and on the horizontal, then it is really, really good. But at the minute it isn't. At the minute it's saying, I want to test 24.99. It's saying it really, really loudly. You know, it's not my predictive abilities, and I'm not doing something that you couldn't do yourself, and I suspect that you might be thinking this, is that that's what it's likely to do. And so with regards to the way that people here trade this asset, and it's not my financial advice, and it happened long before I had anything to do with any of their lives, your lives if you're this person, I don't have financial advice for you, but I added to this at $30, just under, and I was thinking at the time and have kept ammo dry for adding to it when it and if it does get down here. No, I'm not going to obviously sell any of that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying this is a likely move. You have to manage your expectations, and I have to be honest with you, because when it bounces from there, and if it then breaks as the 618, and I start telling you that means it's going to $97 pronto, that's going to 107, then 100, maybe $30. That'll be true too. And so I tell it as it is when it is what it is. So that's that. That's AMC, and a quick look at it up to including those time frames. Let's drop back down 15 minutes, and as you can see, I've still got my lovely purple crayon. It's kind of a little unwielding. It's like carrying a floppy dildo around. You're like, hey guys, this should have more integrity. How does it really work? And I suppose that's the ignorance of men and crayons, isn't it? But Jamie also saw a bear flag or a bull trap. I don't know. I'm totally not negative. Or a bull trap. If we're talking AMC, yes. And we're talking like daily chart, and you click the auto button, and you've got a pole and you've got a flag, and it's a classic bull flag, right? That's what that is. That's a bull flag with lower highs, lower lows in this channel, and it's coming down to test it. It may do come down to $25 and test the midpoint on the pole where it then that went on for its final extension. That's so classical of bull flags, right? It's just so flipping classical of the thing. Your volume similarly hasn't broken the trend since it's been going down. It's just, there's been no change in the volume trend. Everyone bought it, and since then nothing's really happened. Nothing that would be making its distinguishing behaviour down here. Your RSI, you've got the positive trend. Your Rockies DMI. It's on the daily timeline. I'm not going back to doing the T and AMC, but now that it's there, you've crossed over it and you've got a positive cross. That's positive. But also, you've got the ADX going weaker again, so that just negates all that good news. You've got a positive cross on the MACD, and you are above the 200, so that's very good news. But that happened already. Prices have made it up to the point of resistance. And then, as you can see, you've also got a negative formation. Well, I've drawn that on. It's likely on a different time frame, but perhaps it's also a channel. Then itself, it doesn't have a breakout or a measured move on it that you can usually measure, but it is what it is. Cachicho Valador, somebody's talking to you, so you're here. There you are, Cachicho. How you doing? Just confirmed some of my favourite shares landed safely at ComputerShare. Congratulations, brother Cachicho. You legend. You're a lovely person. You're an inspirational bloke. Great to see you back. GME T1000, ignorant crayons. I get orange and I get purple, but you guys only get to see the purple. Do you get to see it change here? No, you don't. There? No, it goes white. Rubbish. Stefan, this is info people will consume and pass around. How many exit DDs are there? Good question. How many hardcore traders stream? Girk, Jimmy, Rocky. There's one exit DD. I think each one of these guys should have exit DD. Huge opportunity to increase subs. Good thinking. If it was, yeah, you're right. And I should do it for that purpose, and then ignore my own concerns and do it in a way that helps people, and just go ahead and do an exit DD and see what happens. Although I don't know if people would say like, oh, now I trust him because he's written an exit DD when they previously didn't. Probably go the opposite way. But in terms of new people who are interested in like knowing how to sell this, then yeah, sure, would be helpful, and I think it's a good idea. So yes, I mean yes, you're right, and Stefan, you've got a good perspective. You are very much a good cross section. You're like the classical GME dude, really. Very much like so much of other people have got little bits of what you're like with regards to this. It's hard to make comprehensive exit DD until people understand how to use it. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm always worried people misinterpret or whatnot. So I suppose that's on me to make that possible. The trait is Kramer's trainee. Apprentice. We have apprenticeships over here. It's good option for people who don't really want to go to university, but want to get a skill. So, I mean, I'm all for apprenticeships. And if that's what you're referring to, GME T1000, then hey, that's not bad, isn't it? It's not bad. But the danger is if Kramer gets like replicated, as you'll understand that idea. If there's multiple ones of him produced, then people like me will just come along and take that market share. You know, they can't survive. Not now. The world's changed. You know, the audience has changed, and the things we're interested in have changed. It's our market. No nonsense with Kramer telling you, hey, this fucking company's good, this fucking company's bad, and then at the same time going away off and talking to his mates and having them tell him what to say, and then going on TV shows, and he doesn't know he's been recording and giving away all of the fact that everything he does is dishonest, allegedly, and what he gets up to is verging on, if not clearly illegal, allegedly, and that allegedliness has come from his own mouth, so deal with that. But yeah, I mean, I can say I don't know much about our friend Trey, other than to say, I've seen his energy and like it. I kind of like it, you know, kind of like that. And, you know, he does smile a lot, and it's hard not to like that. So there's two very positive points about him. And he is, if I was going to say, for example, if someone said, you know, you have a choice, you have to marry either of these two people, then I'd be marrying Trey, obviously. But so you go. That's the different ways of putting it. There's different ways. It's just difficult to put Kramer in the same sentence as anybody. Ashley Lamb 100, and the ones you try to inform think you're crazy. You're crazy. Well, I'm not going to do that because, you know, I'm so good at singing I'll probably get copyrights. Do you have a guess on which will squeeze first, AMC or GME? Yeah, I've got a guess. My guess is GME. That's what my guess is. I don't know. See, the thing is, GME can go like up to 400, $500 and isn't yet squeezing, whereas AMC, it can go up to like $70 and you could say like potentially it isn't squeezing, right? Because it's already been there, not all that distant past. GME's been up in those sort of, it's been up near its highs a few times. So I think that when you're defining like when does this squeeze, which one goes first, you're talking about the start of it, and then you're trying to talk about, well, which one's going to do it, and you know, you can easily define as GME as being like the squeeze has started when you're above certain targets, whereas with AMC, it's not like anyone turned off the buy button right there. I'm like, yo, or did the buy button get turned off on AMC? Did that happen? I don't think so. And like, I'm not. This is not critical. I'm just saying it's like a distinguishing factor. You can look at it and say like, well, this is the point where that happened with GME. So when it gets above there, you would say, is the squeeze starting? Because it may well be it's a valid question. Whereas with AMC, I mean, it goes up to $70. That's now good 100, nearly 100% from where it's been recently. It is more, and so getting there, you'd be like, well, that's the equivalent in that. It's like, well, not necessarily, because there isn't some level above it where you can be like, yeah, this is where we definitively knew it was shit for the shorts or that. I mean, I don't know, can you? There are other ways of doing it. Working out short interest, looking at like the average buy price, and short the VIX is good for those sort of things, and he's a nice dude. But with regards to like which is going to squeeze first, it's like, what do you do? I mean, my guess is based on the fact that I've looked at all the DD for GME and I've been looking at it intensely for frickin' what is it now? Better part of when is it? Yeah, 8 months. 8 months with live streams for what, 6 of them or something? I don't know. Jamie and Trey sitting and Trey kissing. Ha. Jen, what you like with those naughty thoughts? Aye. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's silly. It's like saying somebody like who I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What do I think's going to squeeze first? GME. Is this a guess? I don't know. If AMC and GME don't squeeze at around the same time, then people are just going to double jump and roll profits into the one that does squeeze second. I think both will happen at the same time. Yeah, or else, like, I mean, they're both going to squeeze. Like what you're saying there is, or else they'll do this thing and they'll both then just kick off one after the other, which is like what would happen. But the truth is, it won't be so easy to draw the line and say this is where everyone squeezed, everyone dropped out, and they moved into this one. They'll probably both go, well, from a geological perspective, it'll seem like they're happening at exactly the same time. Check the is Vlad in jail indicator to know when to sell. That's a great one. Yeah, that's a good one. Like, is he in jail? And you'll be able to figure it out pretty sharpish by a quick Google search. The buy button got turned off for AMC too. Right, well, what price did that happen at? Way below then, probably, because it went to all-time highs late since then. So, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to... I'd probably be better at asking that question while I was having, like, a debate with, like, an AMC dude. Maybe that next time I speak to Jackson, or maybe someone like Short the VIX, or that'll be up for us, like a debatey type thing, and then we could talk about those things and it might be useful for the audience. But I don't know if it really matters. It's like Stefan says, either they happen at the same time or we're all like, literally we all take advantage of both of them. I mean, if one of them does squeeze and the other one doesn't, then everyone will still be of the belief that it's going to anyway, and they'll make it squeeze because they'll just buy it and they'll have so much gains from the other one that why wouldn't they, you know? I'll certainly be watching and I don't give out financial advice, but if it worked in that way, it would be pretty easy, right? So, I mean, I'm with you on the idea that they're both probably going to squeeze and probably in around the same time. And if they turned off the buy button for AMC, they probably did that way below. So then it's a question of, like, they're both, you know, it's so very, if that's the case, like, you know, the explosive nature of them both, and they're both so high compared to what you would normally see them at historically that, you know, they're silly. It's like, you know, it's just an interesting thought exercise, what would happen if, but the truth is it's very likely to happen at the same time. Another indicator is the SEC actually using the new rules. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, why didn't they use the old ones? That's a perfectly good question to ask. Blah, 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 Bulgaria, exactly. Remember Matt, maybe for a second? course, my friend. Of course, my horse. So you got that first touch. That's your first area where some people wanted to buy that. This green line. Did you get it? Not completely. You were close, but you didn't get it. And you've since bounced back up, touched that 236, and not managed to open a body and close above it on the daily chart yet, obviously, because the day isn't finished. Uncle Megan, can you do analysis on QST? Has an 8 to 8 buy and strong buy ratings on it. Right now, it could be a good play. I'd like to hear your perspective. Of course I can, Uncle. Yes. Uncle Megan. No problem. What am I on right now? Matt. Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll go to it straight from here. You have a visual glitch on screen for me. I do, Case. What is it? Has it changed or gone? It seems... Is it this huge light? I can move it. Bye, light. What else? Oh, the jar's not there. Is that it? Where's the jar at? Bam, bam, bam. There's that. What else am I missing? Loads of things, eh? I'm missing loads of things. You know what you're like, Jamie. You're missing loads of things. This thing's missing? Sorry, I was in an interview before here, so didn't get everything done I might have wanted to. Pew. There we are. 190 of yous. Awesome. Awesome. Wait, what is that, lol? What is what? Tradespotting is the answer. I am me. You certainly are you. You think, therefore you swim. Tradespotting, that fixed it. Awesome. Ha! See, I'm a genius. I'm so good at this. It was the light. Aha! Okay, so this is what we thought. You've got a healthy stop loss on that. Why is that so much? Just this area and it's obviously horizontal support and resistance, isn't it? And then you're going to have to go back to the daily to see what that means. Yeah, it's over here, this breakout point here, yes, and then these areas here, this gap, you're likely to go to that, and then you test below it. Oh my goodness, there's so many areas making this dodgy. Do you take it from here? Top of the gap, just underneath it, I probably put that trade in. Too much on that risk-wise, even if it does go up higher. Wouldn't be interested in it. That'd be like there and then take it down. Maybe that's where it was anyway. Something like that. And then why did I take it all the way up here to the 618? I see that is a strong trade you're looking for. Well, your first taking profits, if you do bounce there, at your previous support, which will, if it does get down below it, will then become resistance. You'd expect it to be tested at least once, but not to break it on the first go. So at that point, you would say it's a profit taking line. Thoughts on the indicator? It has a ton of likes on TradingView. See, Williams VIX Fix finds market bottoms. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've not that exact one. I'm not sure. Williams, right? Cool. I know Williams, likely him, and VIX Fix. It's about the VIX and volatility. Okay. Well, I can't tell you what off the top of my head, but I'll definitely have a look at it. It's got a ton of likes. What's a ton of likes? What is a ton of likes? I've seen some indicators on TradingView that get so many likes and are rubbish, but I would definitely look into it for you. And if that's the only reason you're interested in it, then it might not be all that amazing. It might be a bit disappointing. Fortunately, popularity isn't much of a gauge of quality these days. Case, Tradespotting, Jamie, we are at the 242 watchers. Bloomin' heck! We're back in the big boys numbers. 190s. Rookie numbers. Tradespotting, can we do GME TA before power hour? We're fucking damn right we can. 13 minutes, so I've got to get on with these. Matt, right, you've got these areas below previously that people might look to target to get in at. I'd actually think that this 618 retrace is likely having gone beyond the 236 here and haven't been so fucking shit. This is a bit shit. Yeah, sure, there's higher highs, but there's lower lows on price action. You're in the downtrend. That's called hidden bearish divergence. Then you come in and you make new lows. These new lows aren't even as low as your previous support and resistance on the horizontals on the daily chart. In fact, I'd expect them to be tested. Sure, you might have it on the 4 hour. Let's take a look at them across. No, it isn't. Your body closes. Yeah, a couple in here, and when it recovered above the 200, and so what? That's crap still. It's below the 236 of the Fibonacci it's on now. At that time, when it did that move, bump, that patch there. Yeah, fair enough. Hadn't tested the 236 since, whereas this has though, and that seems like if it does test it as it does now, and a failure comes in, which would mean like 4 hour. You got plenty of time left on that. Well, we'll see how it goes, but it looks shit to me. In terms of like, if you look back and you say this is the new low, which you would only be able to say when you do open above this 3 spot 11 on at least an hourly open and close, which you can see you haven't done yet, even though we're on a 4 hour. And if we haven't done it here, then what about here? Nope, right. You mean sure, right? But not since you dropped below it. You've never got an open and close on the hourly, have you? Or is that 1-1? And if it is, then it's a doji anyway. No, it isn't, and it's below it, so it's doubly bad. So to me, this looks like it's not got the strength. If it does, that would be counter trend move going back against being below the 50 and the 200, having put in a new low. Going a counter trend move now without much signal. Sure, you've got a cross on your RL. Rookie Group DMI, and yeah, you have made it above the center line here. And potential, no. Is there a touch of? I mean, that you're gonna call that like it's just meaningless, right? That's crap. Down at the 15 minutes again. Yeah, I mean this like once support, twice support in recent history. 3 times that was significant. Obviously, it's going to be support again, but this time slip below it. That's a hint. Covered, nope. Recovered, nope. Bump, drop. And that one, sure, whatever with that going above it, but you're at it again now. And having come down like so little, caught by the 8 period moving average, and then at it again, having also accumulated above the center line on the other time frame, now being below here, whereas there's potential it could keep going up again. Let's see how that works out. You would look to it and say this may be a higher high than over here. Is that starting an uptrend? Well, the most recent low is lower than the previous low. I'd say this is unlikely. It's probably just washing people out of trades that went in too short too quickly or got in at the wrong time. Support and resistance are very important for that. So, Jimmy, your channel is like the one amazing alternative radio station in my shitty little town growing up. God bless you. Many thanks. Carissa B. Thank you very much, Carissa. Well, you can add another excellent station to your radio with Rocky, who does the pre-market and opening market open. Every day, and he's got excellent tea, so you might enjoy it. That's my top recommendation. But talking about radio shows, it is 1950. That's 50 minutes after. That's 10 minutes to power hour. 10 minutes? 10 minutes. We can easily do what was asked for within those 10 minutes. It was some curious AQDP or something. It has more likes than I've ever seen on an indicator ever. It was a lot. Do you use it? Dee's using it in Rocky's Discord. Alright, cool. Well, if Dee puts some faith in it as well, that's another testament to how it might be working. So I'll definitely have a look at it and do what I think of it there for, what day is today? Wednesday. I'll have a look for it before tomorrow's show, or maybe at some point during this one. What is the deal about transferring to computer share? Well, they're a different type of broker. They don't go, and no one will be going short on your shares. You'll actually own them. They won't be synthetics if they can be taken out and deposited there. And it's seen to be good for the squeeze. Some people have done it with loads of shares. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. My community indicators, way good idea. Well, most of them, Rocky's got loads of started and working on loads of different little things. So I mean, touch with him on that front, and I'll put my efforts behind his good work that he's already started. If you haven't pressed the like button, oh yeah, please hit the like button. It's really appreciated. The YouTube algorithm as well eats it right up. Can we do GME table for power? Jeremy, are we at 240? And thoughts on the indicator rate? Okay, excellent. So I covered all that, and I didn't get what I was looking for. What was I looking for? Can we get some hype music on the way into it? Quite possibly. Tradespotting. Oh, Case, thanks. AQST. That's what I was looking for. Brilliant. Awesome. Thanks, Case. AQST. Thank you very much. Great to have you back, Case. And I'll add it to chat requests. Oh, it should be a hotkey for this. And it probably is. And why is it already on it? Because I'm in chat requests. Excellent. I don't need to add it. This is where I'll be adding it from future. Future. That's higher. That's higher. It's 200 period. We're on the video. 15 minutes here. That's what? Oh, yes. Taximus became a member. Yes. Thanks, Taximus. Freaking awesome. Tradespotting, I must hank to the call of the beast as per our approaches. She's allowed that I may return. She's sufficiently pleased with her jaunt. Awesome. Have a good one. Don't rush back. Make sure she gets the good fun. Thanks, KT. Welcome, Taximus. Oh, yay. Thanks. Thanks, everybody, for welcoming Taximus. Are you Roman Taximus? Are you a Roman? Taximus Muchimus. Yay. Right, so what is this? Well, that's cool. Yeah, higher highs, higher lows. A hugely divergent low there. your previous area of support wasn't divergent, but that's too much of a look-back period to take any type of divergence, and measuring strength against that would be silly. Since then, you've started a different type of trend, it seems. Moving up there, you had your cross. Since then, you've had one test, two tests. This high, not divergent. This high, not unusual to recover here to the center line after having tested the bearish control zone. Also not unusual to bounce off the 200 period moving average. Having done that higher, now the question is, do you come in and put a higher high? Like, this is where you're looking to at, and that. So this high here, not the one higher, but they are so close it doesn't really matter. That's where you'd take profit, is at that area. This here is where you would take more profit and or look for a breakout trade, right? So you might leave some on, have taken it here. So if it opens and closes above here on the hourly, then you're looking at breakouts, maybe even 4 hour, because this is, quite strong oscillations this thing has. So you'd want to see it break through there, maybe on a higher time frame, because there is a number of touches of it too. And there it was important back. So I would think that likely this comes up, and it's still got a bit on it. 450, 420. Where is this first high? I'd drop it at around 430, yeah. That's quite a good move, percentage-wise. This was your entry on the test of the 200 on the 15 minutes. On hourly, where do you look now then, since that one's not on? Well, you're below the 50 period moving average. You have probably, you can't call that divergent, but you can say that it's been going up counter to this, which hasn't really been. So there is a difference, if not classical divergence. Thanks, Kemp. Taximus Maximus. Next 69K is the paper end. Biatch. I am Utahan. From America. What's wrong with me? Yeah, well, welcome. You're now a Doomslayer. And we're all got a little bit of Utanian in us, if that's what that is. Now, the culture has been updated. You have been assimilated, but not in a bad way. UTE? What is UTE? I don't understand, Simone, tell me. Yeah, so you're below this 50, then you could come back, touch 200 again. Makes me want to check higher time frames, your support and resistance there and whatnot. Let's turn this on to, can we get more price action on screen with that button? Yeah, we can. You've broken through that previous fib. This one down here, let's draw that on now and see what's likely. There's your high, here's your low, your 236. Okay, so why were you putting those levels in there? Let me just check here first, sorry. Right, okay, still not telling me what I wanted to know. It's a golden pocket from your ultimate, like your very recent low here at 146 up to your high at 951. The golden pocket retrace on that comes in at around 299, 282, and so it dropped down to that level. I can see why that's significant. You're also getting a touch of horizontals there, but really down here, if you were to draw that on and look left, this is not strength, bouncing from there and only going up to not even the 382 on that same Fibonacci where you touched the golden pocket yet. And you've not got positive divergence there. I'm sure you've got recovery in that. Bounced off that 200 period moving average on the 4. Shit, what's power hour? It's 53 minutes left. Close one. Can't talk doing hot girl shit. Hyperfixating on medieval poetry is a futile attempt to solve the treasury hunt. Treasury hunt. That's another joke. Hot girls shit. What is hot girls shit? What is that? I've got no idea. Baking, things like that. That's hot. You're doing some baking. Nope. Fixating on medieval poetry. Which medieval poetry? Medieval poetry. Okay. Yeah, tell me about that. That's interesting. Knobnib. Who is Chris Moody? Don't know. I want Tradespotting plus Rocky Exit DD collab video series of at least 4 videos that covers everything, including which indicators, breakdowns of how the buying algo works, psychology, etc. Whoa. Maybe will it be 4 long videos? The truth is, Dennis number 1 knows how high this will go. Anyone, please correct me if I'm wrong. Freudian slip. Possibly, but unrelated to the quest you find yourself on, likely. Not that I can confirm or deny anything, it's not that kind of thing, right? It's like the deep state. 484 above you, you're looking to break that on this. You would hold it if you're in there because you're only on the 35 and 18, that's fine. You would put stop losses in if you entered at this ultimate low down here. And wonder where it is that you're thinking about that on. You were telling me something though, 8 out of 8, and you think there might be buying signals. You're touching this 200. You've put in divergence between these two highs, so I'd back off that decision now. You've already come down and tested the 50 period moving average in a 4 hour, but you're below the 200. You've tested it once. That time also had class B divergence, and then you put in a new low on the move since then. You'd need to see something definitive. It's only touched a 618 in the small part of this fib from me. Which one is that? Let's move this now because it didn't prove to be useful. Drop that in where? That high here, and you've only touched a 618 on it. Like, only is like actually quite good, but this here, Fibonacci, draw it in, take it down to the low and see, yes, you got below the 236, that's not positive. Above that, you never made it to anything, despite opening and closing 4 hours above it. You still didn't really manage to do much because you were held down by this 200 period moving average, which trumped it, and now you're still stuck below it, and you're moving behind other ones. Looks like it'll drop down again. Does it bounce here? Well, if it's really divergent, it will do, otherwise it'll go lower. Likely test this 0.618 where it's already been close enough to say that. I'd say like the 65282 is nearly a stick on for me. It comes down to 282 and we'll see what happens there. Where is this low? If I drop that in somewhere above it, is it? Right, it's right at the start of that golden pocket. It's 296. 296, that'd probably be your entry on a trade here. If you wanted to take this, I would do that. You obviously can take this if you're more like looking for this breakout and you're looking at the higher time frames and you are thinking like, hey, it's recovered here, it didn't drop into the bearish control zone, you've got a positive crossing the MACD, the momentum looks fine, doesn't seem to be divergence between it, that's okay. Positive divergence perhaps on the lower side of that, and it might be a reason to go in. You've got strong strength of trend. No, you haven't. You've got the trend and dominance is the DI plus on the Rocky Eclipse DMI, and that's a positive, but your ADX is like at no man's land, no strength land. Possibly going to turn down and get weaker again. Mind you, it has been historically been relevant here, so maybe this is it for this thing. Yeah, it has been. So this is the area where the ADX turns around. You want to make sure that you get positive slope on your DI minus and negative slope on DI minus and a positive slope on the DI plus, so that would be nice at the same time. You've not got enough on the RSI to suggest it's going to go, though you have recovered here on the daily at the center line. Drop down, we can see that it's 1 minute into power hour. Bam, bam, bam. Let's get started on GME. This is trapped by the 200 period in the 4 hour. It looks like it's going to move down. You're looking at entries that will be low risk, which means it's something that's likely going to go somewhere and have a helpful stop loss. I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for that, and I was going to say that would be where you would see, and it, you know, this is just one trade. I'd actually want to pay attention to this and see what it looked like at the time, because it might be far worse, but then you take it there and you see, like, if it gets back up to this high at that point, that would be an interesting move, and it wouldn't cost you too much, and you can put your entry in the start of that golden pocket. Your stop could be just underneath it there. And you've got a 10 to 1 where you take profit at least at the 382 and 0.5 there. You might take it beforehand if this 50 period moving average starts to drop down dramatically and prices up above it and testing the 200, and you might think, well, I'd take it off there, and that's where you'd get out of it. Or else you're already entering it because you think it's going to break out, and which would constitute an open and close above this 200 in the 4 hour. So I'd like to see an open and close above at around 391. Open and close on the 4 hour. And so if I was waiting for it to go up before I entered, that would be it. And the area to look would be 3 point. Well, we're already liquidity above the 236 just, but that's not significant enough. And an open and close above the 200 period, just above it at 390 is what you're looking for. So open and closes above 390. Minimum 4 exit DD videos, Tradespotting. Stefan S says so. Okay, Shane Bush, gotcha. Thanks, guys. Super me, or maybe not. There was another Freudian slip. Exit viz would be nice, GME, just driving a Lamborghini or something. Super money, maybe not. Green Aperta would be lol. Yes, it would be. It'd be very nice. But like, I've got very different exit strategy from other people. You know, my exit strategy is very much like your chap who said, well, we'll notice it sell when your boy's in jail. Like, I'd like to see hedge funds get bankrupt. I'd like to see a message being sent. I'd like to see smoke rising so that everybody could see what was going on and they knew not to fuck with us again, because I plan on being alive for a while and I don't need all the money right now. So, and I understand other people are doing it exclusively for the money, and I don't resent that. All for more power to you. Just saying, like, it's unlikely I'll be making an aperta from the squeeze. I'll be here telling you how to do it, obligated to exit my positions after all of you. So, you know, an exit DD for me in my position, which I feel like is like a position of responsibility to you, is that I won't be selling the vast majority of my position. If only went stupidly high would I ever sell any of it, because I see this as a claymore to chop off those heads, those evil heads. Super me, or maybe not. Oh, no, that's there should not be any DD videos because people use them to pay brand too early. If you want to know how to take advantage of the ones, and you need to learn to ye. See, this is the two different opinions that I'm trying to navigate. I love your maximum damage DD standpoint. We'd love to hear watch more. Haha, okay, cool. That's a good way of putting it. You're going to get around everything I possibly say. There's your exit DD Steffens. You see that yeah, like it's off chart indicators, you know. It's like, so we'll see. I mean, well, that's cold. Also, what time is it? I shouldn't be drinking coffee. What stock are you looking at? That was AQST for somebody. Right, now we're going on. Ow! Back to these ones. We did a quick touch on GME and a quick touch on AMC earlier. Ow. But now we're in power and we're back on it really ploppily. Did I miss something that somebody asked me to look at, in which case I'll schedule it for not too distant future? I want a Malcolm Tucker from the British TV show about the politics. What's that called? Damn you, Jamie. Now I'm waiting to hold past stupid financial freedom. Wanting to hold past stupid financial freedom. You guys are free to do what you like. All of yous are, you know. And, like, it's not the sort of thing that I would advocate other people to get involved in, really. I'm really happy that everybody's here and that you're doing it to change your lives and your communities and things like that. It's amazing. Obviously, all of that's amazing. But some things are hard, you know. Some things are harder than normal level of hard. And you don't want to ask people to make those sacrifices on top of all of the sacrifices you've already made. So I'm not asking that of you and wouldn't require it as a friend. I'm just saying APPH in not distant future would be awesome. Okay, no problem, guitar outside. I certainly shall have a look. Also, drink water and like the stream. Yes, and set up properly. Yes. So, you know, you guys do what you want, and the truth is, like, loads of you have been through so very, very much. I'm here for you to make money. You know, that's important to me, and to live your own lives happily. It's as important to me as it is to destroy the hedge funds, and that because, you know, I care about you. So that's why I want to destroy the frickin' hedge funds and that. So we'll see. You know, maybe it's a long battle with lots of different fights, and as long as you are all happy at the end of the day, then I will be. Tradespotting, when you get a chance, can you explain the 8-ball game to new apes? Wait, what? My 8-ball game? Or watch 8-ball game. If it wasn't hard, we wouldn't need each other. Yeah. And then what would there be the good of it if we could all do it alone? What does Dreamlabs just call me? Probably, I don't know, good question. Hydration check. Yeah, you guys all hydrated? I hope so. I've got some cold coffee dregs, which I'm not going near. Right. We're in power hour. Gotta get going. So, here you can see I have a crayon. This is a support line. If you've been watching along this week, you'll have understood what support and resistance is, regardless of where you began that. Your knowledge was on Sunday. You'll now understand it, I suspect. And while I zoom out, you can see they all get closer together and harder to see, so we'll not do that. We'll zoom back in again. We'll start on this timeline, 15 minutes. We'll go up through it, draw on what we need to, if we need to, and then have a clear picture of the T8. Your trade, your 8-ball game. You push exclamation 8 ball, and then you ask it a question, I think. And then it gives you an answer. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Batman Majama says, sorry for not being around much. Bad days can only get better, right? Batman Majama, you've got absolutely no obligation. You're around more than most people. You're an absolute legend. When I don't see you, all I was worry about you. I really care about you. I really hope you're doing alright, mate. Hope you're doing good. And if I can help you out in any way, just let me know at any time with any regards to anything at all, ever, man. Love you. No need to apologise to me ever, never will be, my friend. Jimmy does not want to go below 156 today. Yeah, it doesn't get what it wants, though. It's other people's stupid wants that's controlling it at the minute. My boy Ryan Cohen will drop the bomb someday. I love that you're using crayons. Crayon TA is the best TA. Faha! Tradespotting. How does it relate to the treasure hunt? There we are again, you know. There we are. There's the dog with a bone. Wouldn't you rather ask me about the treasure hunt, PogChamp? Smash. Smash with the irony. Some banks are obviously controlling the price. Not all shareholders want the price to go up. Perhaps they are controlling the selling anyway to see if BlackRock or Vanguard unloading. Just curious. Some ways to see, you know, got lots of 13F filings, and if you don't really know what you're talking about, you'll spend an awful long time looking at them trying to do it. There's also other ones, Ds, Gs, and all the rest of it, where they'll see, you won't see what they're doing with their holdings, so you may seem like they're selling when in fact they aren't. It's hard to tell when they're buying, and it's hard to be sure when they're selling, though there are signs that they're selling all the time, even when they aren't, when things move around that way. So it's very difficult to see. And it depends where those funds are held and so on, and how popular those funds themselves are. So much of the institutional ownership is held in mutual funds, and then you can track that mutual fund to have some idea of like true demand and supply of the assets that it holds, you know, its underlying portfolio and so on. This is interesting, and you can also do similar things with ETFs, and this ETFs are very similar to mutual funds. The only difference really is that the people who invest in them, and then, you know, you can trade them throughout the day, whereas mutual funds are done at the end of the day, closing day prices. Tradespotting, I'm able to do today. Been working more, avoiding selling my GME. Max Greenwell doing the jobs. Good on you, Max. Good on you, man. Hard, but you're going well. Tradespotting, why so hesitant to answer? What am I hesitant to answer? The 8-ball question, how to play the game on the 8-ball. It's not that kind of treasure hunt, you know. You can't say to me, why don't you, or why wouldn't you, or what's happening. You just have to figure out yourself. And that isn't a test of how good you can ask me questions and somehow get clues out of me. I deliver fantastic clues already, and you've got a very big brain, so you should put it towards those clues that you're already aware of, or if not, then finding them, because that'll be easier than tricking me. I mean, I know this inside out, so it's very unlikely I'd say something without having planned on saying it at some point, and we're near the end of all the things I've planned on saying apart from free clues, which I was only planning on releasing one a month or whatever. It's just so, anyway, whatever. I'm not going to go on about it because then I will trick myself. I've seen a screenshot. Almost institutions are what does that say? Since real, I've seen a screenshot. Almost institutions are 1201 now from Fintel. I totally can't understand a sentence. What does it mean? My bad, probably. I'm just being silly. Bamajama, I hope you feel better soon. We are rooting for you. Yes, Bamajama, I love you, man. I love you, man. I hate to hear that there might not be feeling great or anything. Like, you totally, you know, man. You just don't let the bastards get you down, man. You're the fucking legend. You're a man. You're a legend. Just don't let the bastards get you down, right? And definitely don't let yourself in your own head do it, man. Don't let yourself do it. Hang in there, Bama Jama. Sorry, that's a tough wait. I've missed your comment. I'm going to go and find it. Just the kid in hospital for tests. I'm never ever worried about me. Ah, yeah. big-hearted. See? You see, the love and death community, you for your kid, us for you, and you being selfless like that, and so's everybody else. What do you think about the squeeze being able to pay off all the debt of a nation with that tax money? Wouldn't that make a currency even more valuable? For example, the dollar. Tradespotting, I think it's just proved I can say anything. I think I just proved I can say anything. I understand what that means. Either Electro Boy. Kim Robbins, I think what Jamie said, Bama Jama, echoes all of us. If we can do anything to help you, please don't hesitate. Yeah, definitely. Big family. I don't know what that means, Electro Boy. Tradespotting, what do you think about the squeeze being able to pay off all debt of a nation? Yeah, well, was the tax rebate going to be enough to pay off the American debt? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I would be interested if that ever happened for any reason. Yeah, paying off your debt, does that make your currency more valuable? Yeah. Not directly. It makes it more valuable because your economy is stronger. You can have different policies with regard to monetary, different you can do you can different politics with regards to money. What's wrong with my brain? Does paying off your debt make your currency stronger? Of course it does. Of course it does. It means your economy will be stronger. It means that you'll be able to reinvest more. It means that you'll be able to increase public spending. It means that the country will get better. Opportunity, innovation, just like the quality of life for most people would go up. That's what I think, because I would attribute it to higher public spending, but that's a very personal, that's an opinion. But just from a straight up financial perspective, would you have a stronger currency if you had no debt? Well, you'd be less reliant on, you know how the debts work between countries, right? Rather than like personal credit card debt held by people that own that currency, much more so. That's like presents systemic risks up through the value chain. What you're really probably talking about is one currency versus another currency. The way those currencies are valued against each other is usually based on supply and demand of that currency and of itself. Measuring these things against each other is very difficult, and due to Keynesian economics, there is no real bankruptcy model built into world trade and the idea of managing global inflation. There isn't, right? And it was a struggle that Keynes had, was that wasn't part of what became the new economic system which he developed, and a huge problem that he felt to be there in there. And so anyway, the way that it's managed is that currencies are distributed via the World Bank, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and the way you do it is you give them your currency, or it's calculated its overall value with regards to all the total currencies in the world, and it's all added up, and then it's all split up, and it says, well, yours is worth that much, and so yours is worth that much of the total, therefore you will give you this SDR, which will be representative of that amount which you have contributed with the strength of your currency. Then you lend that SDR to other countries in return for their currency, and then you pay an interest rate on the SDR. Everyone who holds SDRs gets paid an interest on them. Those who borrow the SDRs off others pay the interest rate to people, and that's how you manage that the value of your currency. And then within that, when you're doing that, you'll hedge by taking American bonds, the US dollar bonds, and so on. And so then if that question of paying off your debt doesn't make a strength to your currency, because of the way the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trades is set up, and the Bretton Woods Agreement from the end of the Second World War, and the new economic system that was implemented. And this is a big fucking topic. Because of that, the answer to your question is, would paying off a country's debt increase the value of its currency? Yes, but much more so any country other than America. But when America does it, it'll just do it relative to every other currency in the world, and that'll have a less of an effect on America than it would have on everybody else. Because of the way that the system is built, that these SDRs, 50% of them all the time will go to the American currency, because it's the one that's at the best, it's the top, and it's only recently some other currencies have even got in there, like the Chinese one and whatnot. And there's big questions about what's going to happen in future with the Chinese digital currency. Is that going to be used out with this system of SDRs and IMF to create a dual financial system? And if that's true, and it does happen with a digital currency, then it will allow any country who borrows money and uses these facilities for transferring their cash, or that operating in the world trade, operating with other countries and doing business, will mean that instead of relying on the American controlled system, they'll be able to go outside of it, and then they'll be able to avoid the sanctions regime. There'll be no way of controlling that country with regards to you can't trade if you don't respect the societal norms, and then bad actors would then gravitate to that new system, and it would create a whole new economic war, which I've got a long video which I've been working on for a while that touches on. And aspects of that are, where is it coming from? It's coming from China. Who's closest that'll benefit from it? People like North Korea. What's it going to do to Russia? It's a fucking nightmare for Russia. It's an absolute fucking nightmare. And don't get the wrong end of that idea. Just because they're over there and they've been historically, the seen to be the cartoon nemesis. The truth is that they're no longer your main enemy from a position of trying to maintain the status quo with regards to who's in charge of the world. It's no longer Russia you need to worry about. And if anything, the way that things are going, they'd probably more likely want to be on your side. And that's like, it's up to the powers that be if they want to adjust that relationship in such a way that it helps people. But, far be it from me to tell the power, speak truth to power, you fucking wankers! 159.55. GMC, wow, I'm getting mixed up there. GME, 2.45% on the day, $4 down. AMC, 0. Floating around, it's open at 37.17. And you're looking at this formation and you're thinking, what's going to go down then? Right, well, on the really low time frames, you can see coming in there, it's higher low on RSI, slightly higher on price action. You look to your previous low and you can see it's lower on the RSI, it's not lower on the prices if we're in the context of a downtrend. That'll continue. It'll bring you down to your next horizontal support and resistance. It's the 1414 extension of this tiny Fibonacci you're in, plus it's also your your horizontal support from previous drops. So it's likely that's when if it does get there again, it bounces and then follows this supply line on the way down. And increasingly it's getting squeezed between these two lines. And what are these two lines? Well, they're different from these horizontal support and resistance here because they're diagonal, and they talk about demand and supply when you're looking at them in this. When you go into the hourly, you can see, well, this one's quite extensive, as is this. They both go over a number of weeks. These are diagonal lines signifying support and resistance, demand and supply, that are on significant time frames like the weekly. Those patterns that were ever so big are now hard to see because they're so small, but on the weekly you can see it's coming in wicks, body, and the odd wick above it. And these are significant areas, and a break either side of it would therefore be significant. And you can see that it's really, 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 really squeezed in there now between these two lines that mean something. Below here, if it does break down, you're going to see this horizontal, this orange one that extends along the crayon there, right? That's the next area where you're going to say, is that the bottom? Is it a formation like this here, with a horizontal demand and a sloping supply, and does that signify distribution? And you'd be worrying about and thinking about all those different things down at those levels, which is why it's down here, because this is as low as they can get it, and that's what they want you to think already, when actually this is a higher low on this time frame, and potentially, because this is an uptrend, if that continues, then that's hidden bullish divergence, and it's really, really strong. So don't let the bastards trick you. And then there's other ways you could have drawn this previously, and this cuts through a number of wicks, and putting it like this also means it's through a body high. Now it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 odd touches. Yes, so you're coming up and you're like not very much room left in here. Now that isn't a pattern, right? That's not like some Bilkowski pattern or something that you would be able to take a measured move off. Not at all. It's just talking about important lines with regards to demand and supply on significant time frames. And when you go down, you could say, well, perhaps this is a channel, we've done this before, drawn it in from various different places and said, well, maybe it's something like this here, wicks and two bodies, number of touches on the top side, just keeps going until it hits horizontal resistance. Here's one of them. Below it again, the next one's 134. It's very important it stays above here. It did a very good bounce. It's made its way to the top of this channel now, and the top of that move's 171. That was good from 140s, and people said I called that wrong, but it's like not true. That's not true. Anyway, you're also held below this 8-period moving average and not breaking out of this channel. Those two coming at the same place, and this being a 618 of the tiny moves within there. But really, this Fibonacci here is not helpful, other than to define those lows below in that line there, 1 pixel orange line, as you see, coming in at 155 or 100. Where is it exactly? It's 155.13. That's where I'd be looking at now, regardless of it being a 2-day. Drop down to the daily time frame. You see, here's your 2 touches of it here. It's also where your area is trapped. This area trapped, prices below it for a while with these 3 candles. And then when you're above it, that was distinctly different. And so touching the top of that channel, it was reasonable. What's the word for that? It's all within the context of how it's been behaving recently. And it's found it very difficult on the daily time frame for the RSI to make it back above the center line. It has on one occasion made it back above its own exponential moving average, and it was when it made this big move from the bottom to the top of the channel. And we've done that again and again, made it above the moving average, but it's potentially going to cross down below it when we're still at the top of the channel and haven't really been tracing it for very long. Whereas this place, you had a lower high and you were testing it, failed to get higher than this previous resistance when you broke down. On this occasion, you haven't had your second push. You haven't had the divergent second high. You have reached the top of the channel, and so it's likely you're caught by resistance and come back at support and caught back up again and test it again, because it would only be doing what it's done before, only this time you might have more strength. And you'd be starting from a better area on your RSI than in the bearish control zone if you were able to accumulate outside the top of that, that would be if you were at higher lows at 155. So that's what we're looking at, That's what we're looking at on GME. You want to see this trend break on the 15 minutes and start being above the center line and putting in higher highs on price action at the same time. That would be very difficult to see that from here. Big extension, especially on low volume. We've not really seen big volume upticks on this yet. Although down on this time frame, it is nice to see something on these bars. And this is positive, holding the moving average. And this weakness of the DI minus is obvious there, dropping below the center line. Also, your trend though is dropping down. This jagged, not so much, right? The big moves off this, though, haven't necessarily themselves led to anything apart from this one. It was also complemented by the volume. So you could see that happening at an accumulation point below, which is to be support, or as and when the top side of this breaks, and the top side of this, as time goes on, gets lower and lower and lower, but the bottom side stays where it was. And that's another example of how prices will be squeezed. And maybe it's into this little bit of a triangle that's left here. Maybe there is other formations. There's like potential rounded top bit there. I don't see it myself yet. Nope. Positive. This is a big amount of time to have spent down here, but not all that different from here. You've got a double bottom on RSI. Is this potentially divergent here? Doesn't look like that. If I was short, I'd be worried about that cross, combined with the fact that this looks like it's starting to build up to something, and that we've been held by this 8-period moving average from going too low. Usually if in a bad day, you'll see that those negative candles like stretching down, only the wicks touching the top of your 8-period moving average. But here it's like opened above it a couple of times, but they've been doji, so it's double checked, or it's got close. And now you've opened and closed one on it, and it's a 15 minutes. I know you've only got 2 left, but they could be 2 good ones. You're above it, you've got 161.31. It's where your 200 period moving average is, and it's likely the day closes around 161.20 16130. 16119 is likely. Above that, you've got a 50 period moving average, which you might wick to and then sink back down. And that's how I'd expect to see the end of today finish for GME. Next to 15 minutes, hopefully being positive. If that doesn't happen, you would start seeing that immediately, because you are at your previous high in RSI on this time frame, where you did also come in at this previous high on price. You subsequently went higher off the back of that. But yes, so it's likely that if it doesn't make it, then it doesn't make it now. And if it does make it now, then it's going back to 161. That's what it looks like. Boom. AMC, 30 minutes. Back within this downward sloping line. I suppose then you'd have to start looking at this and wondering. Is it putting in some sort of lower high at that point? Even in this Fibonacci, it's only a 5.5 retrace, right? So like continuation of the trend to be expected if the prices only make it to the 0.5 and then bounce up again above the 236, and you've then invalidated the Fibonacci sequence you were in. Invalidated it, because that's what happens when prices go beyond the 236, like back below the 236 on the retracement. And this below would actually be higher, because you're going, the direction of this Fibonacci is down the way. It's measuring a retracement against this upward move, and it's measuring the downward retracement. So like the further you go on it would be like the higher on the Fibonacci sequence. So quite counterintuitively, and when you're listening to me speak, say I want the prices to go back lower than the 236, that's talking about the Fibonacci sequence, and I actually want to see them prices higher than 37.85, at which point you'd say you've invalidated this downward Fibonacci. The upward move is on again, and you'd be looking back to your previous one and drawing out higher highs, having got to the golden pocket of that. But this is obviously off that previous move once before, and then come back down, held. What one was that on that same Fibonacci? Below the 0.5, but you only went down to this golden pocket. Wait a minute, I've got different Fibonacci's on here. Ah, that was that one. Okay, yeah. You only went from the 618 of the breaker fib to the 618 of the move you just put in. That's totally normal, especially if you're also hitting the 0.5, and that could be really good for this. Let's see. 15 minutes, look up to hourly and say, yeah, there's positive signal on RSI there, that touch there, and you're accumulating. Having got moved up once. What was that on price? Moved up. Can I get just for a second, I have to get this cross up, and then you still see that crayon. Yeah, good. Thank you, YOLO short squeeze. And so we are looking at, what was it? Yes, this, and it was here on price action, touched in this trend, test of the center line, test of the zone moving average, in an uptrend. That was very positive, and it kept going. The RSI has finished its uptrend. Price is still up here. You're above the 200 period moving average on the hourly. You're at the top of the formation. It's natural to come down at the top of the formation, but you've got 0.5 retracement of this. Let's just get rid of this too much stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Wow, donation. Who's that? It's Jones. I go ahead. Thank you so much. Have I missed something? Can we make custom super sticker things? That would be good. Those things above, custom super sticker things. No, they don't let you do that. How ridiculous, eh? Wait for it. Thanks. That's a good one. Thanks, H. Jones. And Daniel. I saw Daniel donated earlier. Jeez. Daniel H. Jones and Taximus joined Uncle Megan. Shit, did I do what that was? You do Nell's video on AQ? Yes, I did do some of that for Uncle Megan. Good work, good one. Daniel Fiver, cool, awesome. And I see Alex the other day became a chimp, so thanks for that 220 hours ago, which I wouldn't be on for, I don't think. Was it the end of the show? Wolfert Doomster, Tradespotting, could we see some dark pool data for GME today? Norries, if you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. No problem, I'll do that in a minute now. Doomslayer, Finance, Tradespotting, I'm behind. I just wanted to say not many people know about SDRs. Great explanation. I agree about the current threats, potential change in ecosystem and the effects therein. Boom, Finance. Not many people do know about it, you know. In fact, there's like a plague of ignorance with regards to how the world handles international inflation. It's kind of like hilarious that we just walk around all day with absolutely no idea how it works. It's not like it's complicated as building an iPhone. I would have no idea how to make an iPhone, especially not with the tools in my house, but I can figure out how the international monetary system works. I can work out how Keynesian economics is supposed to be applied. It's super obvious. Like, it was a big news when it happened. And so yeah, more people should know about how your currencies are valued, and the more you look into it, the more you'll understand that loads of it's actually really sensible. And why is it in place? Because the whole economics, the whole maths of the system, math or maths, whatever you prefer, depends upon very specific things. And one of those incredibly specific things is forced liquidations. It's incredibly important. And equally important is forced recalls. Equally important. They're the whole mechanism that underpins the entire market. And absolutely nobody is going to come in and turn this into a managed event or fuck me over, because you can't take my fucking shares. So you can talk about it all you fucking like, but it isn't going to happen. And you think you understand how the world works. Not if you're trying to fucking take my GME shares, you don't. SDR, great explanation, question mark. I don't... You want an explanation of SDRs? Did I not explain them already? But we can talk about some more about SDRs. I've got a video coming up called World War Bitcoin, which I've been working on for ages, but like this stuff got so busy that I kind of put it to the back burner. But it's good, and it's got animations and whatnot, and it took ages in the research, and it's good, and it explains SDRs from a perspective of people who don't know anything about the way the world works, or anything about how even economics works, or why it would be that, so apparently the Zimbabwe currencies were shit all compared to what it was a couple of days ago, and we all know tomorrow it's going to be worth even less. Less against what? Your currency, if you're not from Zimbabwe, and why? Why would it be worth less against your currency? What could that possibly mean? And like, if you understand all those things, then you get a better picture of how the world works, and then you can say things like, what can you say things like? Well, you can say whatever the fuck you want when you understand how the world works, really. That's the bottom line. But also, you could say like, but the US dollar is the world reserve currency. It's like, technically that's true, but because of the construction of the SDRs. But like, actually what it means is that there is a world currency, and it is SDRs. It's the world currency. It's SDRs. And it'll be used all the time to value how much the $10 in your pocket is worth. And so it's worth paying attention to. And so when people ask, like, well, does for example, paying off your debt mean that your currency is stronger? Yeah, it does. But what you're really looking to do there is to reduce inflation, because then what you're doing there is reducing the amount which your currency is devalued against every other currency in the world. So when you think about inflation, you're like, yeah, but inflation is what makes my bread more expensive. That's actually overly reductive, and to the point of not being true. It's what makes your bread more expensive is your shit government. It's your shit government, right? That's what it is. And they'll tell you that it's economics is to blame. But economics isn't to blame, right? Economics isn't good or bad. That's stupid. What's also stupid is your government, who are devaluing the money that they encourage you to work so you can pay them taxes, but then you pay them those taxes and it's not enough for them to pay off their debt to other countries, so the inflation goes up. So the value of your bread, the value of the money in your pocket goes down, the cost of your bread goes up, and your life gets harder and harder. And that effect is nowhere more pertinent than on the poorest of society. It's those who are affected the most, and that's another massive imbalance in the world that's never going to be addressed unless we fucking stand up and do something about it. And the poorest people in the world can't do anything about it on their own. And you know what you're doing with... Oh, look at that. 1 hour with a gap. Is it too? It's unusual. No gap. But that's strong continuation to the downside. On the fifth 1 hour, you've got your 200 period moving averages. Where's my drawings gone on this, by the way? Because I know they were there. I drew them only earlier today. I had a channel and a wedge all around this and stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's I'll just draw it again. Right, where does that go to? Yeah, so you got a wick body, and then well, that doesn't really work, does it? Let's take it from the body, and then this one moves up a little bit, and there you are, wick, wick, wick. Bodies, 1, 2. You can close enough is near enough. 3, 4, and then would you expect this to touch it again? Well, I mean, a lot of people have got this chart and are looking at it like that. In which case, you've got no right. You're like, what's it trying to tell me? No idea, right? And like you can, if you're not like then drawing those drawings on your mind and thinking about these oscillators, you'd probably be asking me to stretch that out if you were. And thinking about these, you're like, well, I don't know what it's going to tell me. It looks like it's fantastic, right? And you could then put that on a different time frame, like a weekly, and you could be like, my goodness, this thing's amazing. But these days, 1, 2, 3 in a row, increasingly. If this candle is bigger than this one, the body close on this candle is bigger than this one, which is bigger than this one. That's fucking awful. It's also taking it beyond support there if it does that. Is it likely to do that? Yeah, quite likely. If not, yeah, it's quite likely. So we'll see, but there's the support, and support's very commonly the bottom. You've got a gap there. Does it fill that gap from bouncing on support? That's the sort of thing it does, and then break down from that again and crush people. Very possible. If it doesn't stop here, is that a gap? It's a 15 minutes, right? So I don't pay any attention to gaps in 15 minutes. Like literally means shit all, but there is one. And this thing itself, I just did. Hello? I hate it when the computer does that. It's because I did this. It's me that does that. It's never the computer, it's always me. But that does mean that I managed to get it right on the same place. Wow. And then this is the last one. Yeah, so 15-minute gaps, they're just silly talking about them. There's also like this, and sure it was filled with wicks and whatnot, and it was more filled there, and sure whatever, right? 15 minutes, maybe it is. Let's see if it's on anything else now that we're here. No. Nope. Yes, so I mean all of that happening when market was open, obviously, no problem, and that wasn't where I was looking at, was it? Because the 4 hours changed it, so maybe it was here, in which case, is there a gap? Yes, there is. There's still a gap, and it's on the 4 hour, and it will be filled eventually. There's also support and resistance. 4115, that's fucking 10%. 10% off SPY. Like, when was the last time that happened? Like, we don't all fucking know. What was this while we're on our way? Close, 9%. Yeah, so I mean, apart from that, we all know what the last 10% drop was. That was close to it. It was also putting in a lower high, but the trend corrected, went on all-time high at the time. You put in lower there, you accumulated at the center line. That was very obvious that might happen. Your higher high, and that was fine. Then you've been persistent in the overbought zone. Now you're putting in lower highs in the overbought zone. This is true divergence you're putting in here. This is true divergence. That inverted head and shoulders, as if it's at the top of a trend, is a reversal pattern. And inverted head and shoulders can't come at the top of a trend. Being head and shoulders, and there's nothing like that there. There's none of that. It's just that it might bounce when it touches the bottom of the overbought zone. Anyway, I'm straggling off. It's 42 minutes past, so we'll go back and do GME and AMC, shall we? Is that alright? Have I been getting on with people okay, chat and all? Have we been getting on okay? We've talked about treasure hunt stuff a little bit, and that, and that's good that he's getting a better picture of that, but really the message I want to communicate about the treasure hunt is it's not about asking me questions. It's more about investigating like the content I put out, which includes like really good clues, which will lead you to learning all about the fuckery that's going on in financial markets, which most of you will have a very good understanding of from other places other than me. But a refresher can't hurt. Tradespotting, any idea on what a Knoxville divergence is? That's when we were watching Jackass and Johnny Knoxville's head goes one direction, his body another. I was reading this old trader chat from a few years ago, trying to learn. That's a good place to look at things. Good one. And they kept talking about this as basically being amazing thoughts. Oh, right. Knoxville divergence. Well, I wonder, right? There's lots of different types of divergence. Three main ones. Two main ones, and then they've each got two different sides to them. So, I suppose, and then there's divergence against different indicators. So perhaps like that's what it's talking about. Well, I'll look into it and get back to you on that one. And just make a note of it. Sorry. And then what does that I see there? I see Batman Pajama. Can you look at AHD for me? You bet I can. Knoxville divergence. Right, I'm going to look at HD and then go and do 15 minutes on the busy ape thing. Where's the AHD at on my list? You'd better not have gone anywhere. Ugh. No. Where are you? It says it is on my chart. Well, it's back on at the bottom, and all my drawings are probably gone. No, they're still here. Yay! Ooh. When did we look at this? That was a very tight stop loss. Not only did it go through that one, which was like on the first touch it got right to it and bounced, interesting. But it went not only through that, did it go through the previous low? No, it went right to it. Oh, so very close. That's the body close. Well, there's the body close there. Right, so that was just trying to chase people out of a trade. 1289 touched your low, much higher on your RSI. Nowhere near as low on your MACD. You've not really got a real cross here. So on the weekly, potentially bullish divergence. Yes, this is when it did its split 1 to 10. What price was it at the time? 2077. 110. It's halved in value. That's not so bad. Good sign that really overall. And then you're on the 2-day here, stuck in the bearish control zone. You want to get out of that, and you also want to reclaim this moving average. It should be positive. You could do that having tested this low, quite heavily testing there on the 2-day. It would be very unusual to see this go below here. There's your support at what? Why is that so low? It's actually there. So as if you are going to take this trade, like it's even easier now because your stop loss is a very obvious area, and then your entry is right wherever. Let's move this left so I can see it properly. If you are taking that trade from here, then you've got it slightly easier in terms of risk management. It doesn't really make much difference in terms of the profit you're going to get because the take profit targets are as they are reasonably far away. Right, your first one on this, if it was just a simple move, it would already be 2.5. So if you had the right signal, and check that in a second on lower time frames, you'd already get it. And then your actual area you're targeting on this will give you a 6 to 1 or more, and then you've got a gap to fill, and you'd probably look at taking profit just before there. And then there's your gap fill. I'd at least expect it to see up and try the bottom half of this gap. So I'd be looking at this to get to $28. That's what I'm thinking so far, and then drop down to the 4 hour. See, there's your test. It's divergent. If this goes up again, you'd expect it to at least test slightly important levels. This is your horizontal above at 1753. I mean, it looks like a stick on it'll get there if you're to draw a line between these two highs as well. It's coming in for that. It's the 8 period moving average and the 36 period moving average, both down there and putting in a negative cross. You want to get above your, well, here's your 8 period moving average, your 50 and 36. And it's not a negative cross, it's a positive cross because it's your 36 going above your 50. So if that happens and prices go on up to test the 36 and the horizontal, then that would be very positive. It'd break your previous resistance here, and then you might be looking at a further bit on that move. Two, 3, 6, 1939. A test of 1939 is highly likely on this thing, and it will be take profit target, so there will be then probably a bounce down, either test this horizontal or it test this downward diagonal. Now that downward diagonal's like the amount that I'd rely on that would be very low. That with the body close means it's like a channel. Could go up, but that wouldn't necessarily turn into a wedge. You've got a chance of a downward sloping wedge coming in here too. This line. If it is a downward sloping wedge, this is a bullish accumulation pattern. You'd expect it to test higher end again. That might take you up to the 19. Like a move out of this would be from your first touch of the top to the first touch of the bottom. Breakout of that would take you, let's say, are you going to wait till there? Probably not, right? This is like a tomorrow or the day after move. The breakout on it looks like it'll be 100%. It's because it's cheap in that, the way the thing's put in its different formations. It may take a while, but it looks like it's maybe going to start. The way you would see that be open and closing above this formation. It's only had, what, 1, 2... You couldn't even necessarily put that on your wedge. That would be your channel. It's only had 2 touches in the wedge. 1, 2, 3. This being the third one is what makes it valid, so you'll see how far the retrace down is. I would expect it to stop. Like it's already tested its historical low on the left now. You would expect it to put in some sort of attempted recovery before then, and you don't need to hold the thing forever. You certainly don't need to eat all of it forever. And did you know, Bad Bamba Jamma, if it gets up there, depending on how much profit in, you may be thinking how fantastic it is, that sort of a trade to look like. But you definitely want to be looking at the chance of holding something for a little bit longer, because it's not financial advice or that. I don't want to definitely do anything, but 200 period moving average there, that would be like stick on for a retest of that trend if you were in a downtrend, you know. And if things were like awful, then you would want to see it go up and test there before that. It's only been a high and broke down below it and not tested it once yet. And if this was like the end of this thing's life, then you would probably see some sort of a test there sooner rather than later for it to then collapse. And that price is like so far up there, you know, it's like 300% up, 200% up. So it's like super good one to trade this, it thinks to me, if you can manage your risk. And you can, like now better than you've ever been able to do, in fact, other than maybe this previous drop on like this very start of August, end of July might have been slightly, it's a similar situation to now. Same one, same trade, same risk reward, but like further strength in RSI since then. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's a better trade. You can also see that this trend is now coming down below 38 and you've got a point run to exit. Is it stupid to hold both AMC and GME? I'm down on GME and up on AMC 70%. Of course, not financial advice. Thanks from Sweden for everything you give. Yo, Sweden! How is everything in Sweden? Turn those alerts down. Hi, Sweden. Hello, everybody in Sweden. Time is 20:51, so I won't give a big shout out to Sweden right now, but hello to everybody in those Nordic countries. Hope you're having a good summer. And you want to ask a question, not financial advice. Thank you very much. And you're welcome for everything I give. Very much. Thank you. Whoa, SDK 100. Didn't notice that. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. Wow. Is it stupid to hold both AMC and GME? No, it's probably quite smart. I am down on GME and up on AMC. A lot of people are in that position because GME was higher for longer. So they were in it first. And now you're seeing, now we're back like midway of that move. From trickle to quite high, we're now back in the middle of it, whereas AMC's yet not quite back like down to its previous. Well, I mean, they're not all that different, you know. It's just to do with the timing of your entries. Really, is left one the other. Is it stupid to hold both? No, definitely not stupid. the huddling mentality, you know, people will say it's stupid for specific reasons and that, and they talk about your capital efficiency and whatever, but what they neglect to mention in that conversation is the difficulty of timing entries and exits. You're not being given any real exits. I'm not giving them, it's just the charts aren't saying them. In terms of entries, you are quite actually getting quite a few of them because they're both very, very bullish charts. So it's not stupid. I mean, it works with the idea of you can't perfectly time every entry and exit over a piece. So if you've got anything good, that's a bonus. And then hodling when you're underwater, that's not a bad idea. Just no wonder it's bad, Mum and Jim. I'll come back to it and look again if you want to know some more. I could look at specific things about it for sure. But it looks like a good trade to me. Like, I can't move the market myself. If I would just plop it right up there and take the profit off it because it looks like a good one. It'd be easy for you guys, but also I don't know. You know, you buy at support, not resistance, and like, what, you're looking for better support than this for what reason? I mean, you've got a good picture there on your RSI. It's been going up for ages as the price have been dropping, and then that's like a spring, and a spring coiling up. It's come from oversold. It's come from historically low. It's bullishly divergent in some senses, but the look back period on it is perhaps too far to say that. And then within this move, there's shitloads of bullish divergence. So I mean, that's that. And it's a 4 hour. It's not a joke. And it's at historical lows. I mean, this is why you have to have balls to trade. Boom! You're welcome. What did I answer about there? Was the question at least I was asking? Yeah, it was a good question, and I have to get down to it, and then I have to do the busy apes thing though quickly. And I've got how long left before the market closes? Fuck, 1 minute to answer the question, and then add some more after. No, it's not silly. If you are like, you know, having to make sacrifices in order to hold those positions, then that's again a very personal question for you to answer, and how you want to handle it. I would advise everybody to not put themselves in undue stress because of trading, because it's hard at the best of times, and if you make it more stressful for yourself by investing more than you're able to comfortably sacrifice, then that will have an impact on the way you trade and the thoughts you make that will likely cost you money and opportunity. So it's positive to think of yourself as trying the right thing, try and do the right thing, not to think of it stupid, because it definitely isn't stupid. I know you're from Sweden, so you're using that word, and you're not really meaning stupid. You're just meaning like, what's the right advice? I don't obviously say not financial advice, and that's true. It isn't financial advice, but my thing is like, what stupid phrase? I believe that you should follow the charts and let them decide when you should make decisions, because they'll tell you specific things at specific times, and if it is that you need to divest one of those two positions, then it's up to you which one you take money out of, and that would be to do with your own decision on how you think they're going to go. And I can tell you that they both are likely to squeeze. I think that they're both likely to get to very high numbers, but within there there'll be ups and downs and oscillations, and you definitely won't want to be selling things on the down. That'd be crap. So whatever it is you're looking at, make those decisions for yourself. Obviously, I don't think it's stupid. I think that it's probably sensible, because there's so much swirling around. The idea that neither of them would squeeze sounds kind of absurd to me, and if you're got both, then you're in one, and one of them will squeeze, then you'll be making money. So I don't think it's bad. And a lot of people have got the same position as you, like, not whether they're necessarily underwater or not, but like they've got one and then the other one became a thing, so they got some of it, but they kind of really are in more in one than the other. Certainly that's the way I look at it, the way I am very much. So that's it. I mean, it depends. If you're like, so there's other ways of looking at it. You look at your risk tolerance. You'll have a risk corridor. You'll see the purchasing power of each. You'll know what you've invested in each, and you'll know how to distribute your investment between them based on the buying power of each of them, because that's what's relative to your account at the end of the day. So you look at them relative to each other with how they move over time and within your portfolio, and that's a different sum and a different way of looking at things. And like over time, if you've just got a percentage of money in a portfolio that you constantly like reinvest in with every time you're taking profits across lots of different assets, then you use risk to build your own account. By reducing the risk, you're also you're taking risk off the table when you're putting profits in your account, in which case then you consequently under less and less risk each time if you maintain the same trade size. Tradespotting, can you play Pitbull and Keisha Timber SPY and Bitcoin falling? I could play something about me being psychic, But I have lower and lower viewer numbers, less and less and less come back from the channel, and more outgoings. So 4,400 markets, 3 minutes and change left. So what was I talking about there? I bought licenses for the music, like Nigel and whatnot, because I get copyright stuff all the time, and that means that I'm not going to get any money from that video, obviously, and that I'll never get any money from it ever in the history of YouTube. So it's like, ugh, then I put in effort, and I better have helped people at the time, because otherwise it's gone. And so I bought a license for the music we played today, so that doesn't happen as it did for the last day and when many other days. But if I play a song that's copyrighted now, I'll have chucked away that money I spent on the other license. And also then, if anyone did watch this stream back, I can't even remember if I did click monetize on it. I don't know if it'll even work. Anyway, that's the thoughts. But yeah, that's a good song. I mean, I could say, Alexa, play Pitbull and Keisha, Timber. Alexa, I want you to play Pitbull and Keisha, Timber. That's what I'd say. And then it would play at your house if you had Alexa. I just recently bought 80 shares myself for support, and people know I am a GME guy. A GME guy. Bad Mama Jam is very much a GME guy. Very, very much. But you're also an AMC in and out of different times with options of whatnot. I think, like Bad Mama Jam, you are defined not by GME but by your own massive heart. My opinion on for what it's worth. That's good as what it's worth as much as anyone else's. Gamestop got stronger community. Gary Gensler talks about GME, doesn't talk about AMC. Also, Adam Aram is a shiesty fuck. Also, GME is a better bear case. Yes, there's lots of what you say is true there. It's hard to disagree with anything what you said there. And it's not like you wouldn't know, Stefan. You've been looking at them both for ages and you've got your opinions on things because you want to make money. It's not like you're out here trying to say something other than what it is. You can play clips from songs without breaking the copyright laws. Simone Cooper, you're right. But I'm just not sure how much, like 10 seconds or something. Is that what it is? Although it's not even that sometimes, you know. It's not even that sometimes. Right, I've got to do the Busy Ape TA, and I'm sure I've missed people out. Jimmy, all the audience waxes and wanes. We're all still here and just keep doing you. Yo. I know, I noticed that because I did all the changes that everyone suggested, and they didn't make the audience numbers pick up something. And you guys was telling me stuff you wanted to see, but not necessarily definitive. And then, you know, I do watch other videos, you know, of other people doing the GME stuff and that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, there's your boy, I haven't seen him in weeks, but there he is, having a nice time over here. And then next time back, I'm like, there he is again over here. What's going on? And what's going on? I haven't seen him, and he says he's busy on the comments on the Busy's videos, but he's here watching this stream. It's already been on for a number of hours. What's he up to? And that's perfectly okay, obviously. You can do what you want, obviously. I think it's mostly a consequence of people being back at work. That's the most of the feedback I get and that. So anyway, what am I talking about here? Did it do this full drop? 4,400 now. We said that not the full drop, but 10% to that level there, but it's fucking, pardon me. There's your 50 period moving average on the 4 hour. I think it's likely that the body closes slightly above that today or just underneath it, in which case it's not going to move much. Mind you, it's not going to move much because the markets have closed, Jamie. No, market's open. What time is it? 21:01. Spy. Yeah, no, it's closed. Why did it say that? So, I mean, I was right. I called that one right. Because the price has already stopped moving. Have I answered people's questions or done anything right? I feel like I've shortchanged everybody because I wasn't able to satisfy you in the questions that Electro Boy was asking about the treasure hunt. I wasn't able to do that. Which some parts I felt like not able to satisfy the person, but that chap was obviously our friend Electro Boy was on a quest for the treasure hunt. Tradespotting Vix. I got Vix on here. Should we put a volatility indicator on the VIX? Boom. I mean, you're only going to see like that this thing works, right? That's all you're going to see. Like huge volatility, it's huge volatility, 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 huge volatility. And now this is a similar deal with volatility, and it's reached its sort of levels where you would think that's traditional, it's typical for it to turn around here. Also, you can see that it's done that similarly on price action. It's typical for it to turn around here, so the volatility may drop. That doesn't necessarily mean the trend is going to change with regards to SPY. It just means the volatility will drop. So like the next candles are unlikely to be as big again. And when we do zoom in and we were seeing what we were seeing there at the time was here it had the 3 in a row. Yeah, this is what we said. The 3 in a row, it would have been awful if this one had it'd been awful if this candle had had a body that was longer than this one. Now the wick was longer than it. The body close wasn't, but it ended up forming a hammer, which is again a negative candlestick, and then it's gone down. Like, and the way these things work is you can generally take it from one and then flip it over again, which would be there. It's made it to it, and the volume on that was rank. The whoa, that went right through the 38. That's very good for people who are going short, obviously. And then the strength of this very high, and volatility picked up on those smaller time frames. Well, it's already been up 4 hour. That's brutal. You've now got this. It's an uptrend, so if prices go back, you'll look at that and say that's heading bullish divergence, but they'd have to go back beyond the 236. That means opening and closing above 440 where your 36 period moving average is. And how does it handle these drops? Well, maybe tomorrow opens with a gap and you are down at these areas and things do look rank, but the volatility indicator says that you're kind of close to the top of things on that front. So maybe this channel temporarily starts looking like a wedge, or it's at the bottom of this channel here. About right there. You know, 1, 2, 3 touches, fair enough. Maybe that opens up and touches the bottom in here. That'd be this wedge. Again, a negative wedge, or it could be then again the third level on this, which is like very, very, very bearish and takes you below the 200 period, which is unlikely. It's very unlikely. And you'd want to get in and move either side of that beforehand. Jimmy, you did the Reddit thread a while ago asking people why they thought the audio wasn't doing so well, and they pretty much unanimously said it was the schedule or lack thereof. This is what you read. I read it was to do with the format. You made the 6 to 9 p.m. schedule. You're true, but always late. Sorry if I sound like a dick. No, you don't. You're totally right. I appreciate what you do, but I think the lack of standard time is hurting your channel. Quite possibly, but I'm always here at 7. I'm always here at 7. And it's not because I'm fannying around. It's usually because it's literally nowadays nearly only because I've been making other content. Which was also some of the things that people was asking for. I think the simplest and most common answer probably was the scheduling, and the harder things to do were what I took on first, trying to fit them in. And then I've got good advice on the formatting from people in chat, awesome people here. One person in particular is fantastic with that. So maybe you're right. You're right. Well, it's 6 to 9 p.m. Still is the time. That's still when you're going to find me. 6 to 9 p.m. That's me. That's it. That's there it is. So maybe that's it. But also, you know, like I say, yeah, maybe you're right. Probably, you're definitely right on some levels. For a big chunk of what you're saying is definitely right. So yes, so that's true. How can I do better with that? Well, stick to the schedule more. It's not that hard. It's just other things in life getting in the way at the times. I try to make up for it by staying on later afterwards too, which doesn't really actually help, because you're right, people want to tune in at the start for whatever reason. I'm not checking the ticker now much. I am not a cat, you legend, and you're still here. Thanks. We care about the end result is, and that is why we're waiting for, not the day-to-day shenanigans. They pull out, tune them out, you'll be much happier for it. Yeah. Yes, the day-to-day shenanigans. You're right. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't apologise. I'm just thankful for you boys. You boys. For all you do, you boys. Thanks. Like many others, I got a shit ton on the line in GME. Yeah. Do I get angry? Yeah. I can't stand fraud, but I use anger and energy to fuel my resolve to hold. They can't get out of it this time and that. Aye, they're not getting out of it, Andy. You and me together, mate. No danger. 6 to 9 p.m. That was the idea. It was some of that was it was. It's not that time everywhere in the world, but that's where it is here. 6 to 9 p.m. Yeah, plus. Don't apologize. Thanks a lot for the me. See you tomorrow. See you, Vic. Andy, this is all I need to know until it happens. And it's I don't know. I'll be firing here for grant you in frickin' deed. I thank you for all you do for us for real. Welcome. You're awesome. Most folk can't follow and just want the simple buy now or other stuff. Thank you so much. She's all saying nice things. All you's have been dead nice. That's my opinion, mate. Sorry, no need to be sorry. You're right. It's a good one. If it flash harsh, I don't care what time you start. I'm always here. I know you are, mate. Thinking about the average person. No, you're right, the average person. And it's a good point. I've got to respect the audience and that. So I try to, and I don't. Maybe they think I'm not doing it that way. Tradespotting, can you turn the 8-ball off and on again, please? Right here, right now, no. But before the next stream, I'll try and remember to do so. Die another Dave. That's a good point. I can write it down. Lamau, did I mess up? Okay. Fanatic Duck, Field of Dreams, Jimmy. Build it and they will come. Content presentation, top notch. Schedules are for fannies. Daniel, I'm certain the audience waxes and wanes with the excitement being generated by GME, and some weird people don't have permatac. Yeah, some people don't have permatac titties. Where are they getting them from? They need a refund. They need a rebate. They need a boob job. Ah! Boom! They don't deserve it. Well, yeah. Yes. Some people, yeah. I mean, I put the Busy 8 videos out, and they're to help people who are busy, who alternatively would watch the live stream. That's what I put them out for. But then lots of people find them, and they're like, hey, yeah, cool, because I can just watch this, because I don't like the fact that he talks so much shit, and I just want the facts, and he's best at the facts, so he's giving it away really good in these 15-minute videos. I'll just watch them. An example of that, I suppose, coming up. Anyway, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, keep doing the good stuff. Improve the schedule and keep reaching out to other creators and doing stuff for new people all the time. Find the channel. The people who are here are amazing. I miss when I'm not online because it's like I miss you guys, and I feel like not only that, I feel like I wouldn't have done work. I also feel like I haven't spoken to people and seen friends and that. And often I'm so shit because I've just got a new phone and I'm shit anyway for all my different inboxes that some of them now aren't on it. So you'll feel like I'm ignoring you when I am in. And when I'm on here, I'm like, yeah, get speaking to people, get see people. I haven't spoken to Bam Jamma today or yesterday or whatever and that. So I see them on the stream like, yo, and that. And same with others, like I don't see all that often or don't see you on Twitter or like Andy A, see you there. I'm like, yo, mate. And everybody else, I'm not a cat yourself too. I've had to stop wearing tops after my nipples started wearing holes in them. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop doing that too. This is a Prada top and it's got a zip here right where my nipple is. So as soon as I get jacked, I'm like, ow! I think you need a game chair. I've got tips for chairs recently. If you've got a tip for a chair, tell me what is. I've got 2 tips for chairs that I was looking into. It's actually the desk that's the annoying thing, No, they're both really annoying. I have got help to get this stuff too, so I should to get on that. But I'd be doing so many things. I need to just do it. Part of the problem was the deliveries. I new search for GME and Gamestop in my Smurf account shows Jamie's channel 2nd and 5th respectively. Old apes have chosen their places to hang. We need some volume and volatility, and new apes will come. Boom, boom, boom. We'll freak. Just want to help me help you inflict maximum damage on hedges by training up all your devoted Doomslayer followers and attracting more subs via Exit DD series. I knew that was coming. There is extreme shortage of Exit DDs. You're right, there is, and that's because nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about, and the only people who've managed to commit to doing one are Girk and Warden, both who have some degree of experience in trading. So they've been able to approach it, but everybody else knows they're a fucking... like, loads of them know that. And Jackson Hunter's got good guides to how to do these things, but it's all very specific to AMC. But not that that's the problem. It doesn't matter. But he's got good stuff, but it's not quite necessarily the same as Girk's and Warden stuff. So, yeah, maybe I should do it. I should. I've said that every time you ask me. I come to that conclusion that I should do it. Jamie, 157.05 for the close. Fuck's sake, eh? What does that mean? That's just touching this level of resort, and it's on that level of horizontal resistance, more or less. I suppose you would. What's this dictated by the left? Because it's just missed the left. What's this dictated by this high here? This is a different time frame that I drew it on. Yes. Well, it's not quite on it though. So it's in and around that level, and this does it prove to be support? Well, you put in that. Where's my RSI gone? Let's just get this up for now. What about like that? You can see there. I mean, we're on the lower time frames, but your volatility has been decreasing trend, lower and lower and lower. We'll keep an eye on this actually. 4 hour, like this barcode and stuff, right? Pff, me like ignore that. My goodness. I mean, you can look at this anytime you want, you know. We talked about Bing Bong because of the move, because of what it was showing here and what that was looking like here. And you had this horrible barcode, and there sure was relative volatility to the move it was in at the time, but not to its overall picture of what it's done. And look how similar these signatures are now. GME's gonna go fucking crazy. When it goes crazy, it's gonna go fucking crazy. I have the bestie I sell when bankers are jumping from buildings and the prices go F yourself. That's pretty damn good parameters to use there. Yeah, you'll be sure you're timing the tops, the zenith of the jump, as it were. Warden, no thanks, he's on a meltdown now. Is he? What happened? Yes, 8-ball win if I haven't spoken to Warden in ages. So how's he doing? There's a hard pass lull. Hard pass on what? Oh, that's Streamlabs. I'm reading out wrong things now. Warden said we are in collective psychosis. Was it recently he said that? Daniel Assange just super chat $5. Thank you, Daniel. How are you, Jamie? Hours of family fun. I'm good, my friend. I had a really nice chat with Josh. I might get a quick wee chat with Rocky after the stream here. I haven't seen him today. I saw my mum. That was lovely seeing her. I went a wee walk in the sunshine briefly. And then the stream with Josh was really good. He's a nice guy, chatting to him. Seeing all you guys in chat makes me feel great. So I'm doing good. Really good. Thanks. I hope you're doing well too. Bing bong, the price is wrong. I'm here. I'm driving. Be careful out there, Kim, driving. Oh, Kim. Big hugs, Kim. Miss ya. Hope you're doing well. Don't miss you. That's the wrong word. Just think lots of ya. That's the right way. Somewhere in kidnapped. Huh? What does that sentence mean? Lol, hopefully. I want to see a triple top. A triple top on the jump Daniel was talking about. That would be interesting. He went full shield hard. Did he? That happened. When that? Did he yeet? Did he? What happened? You gotta tell me. Deleted himself. Really? What? What? Did he? We love you, man. Hours of family fun. Thanks. I love you too. He gave over his Discord too. Really? What? Crazy. Haven't seen the man behind the curtain yet, though, Kim. Aye, I know. Well, you don't know if you really want to see them. Somebody else can look at them and tell you that they are all decrepit, diseased, and dying. You can be like, ugh, glad I didn't see that. Not for your eyes. You don't need to see these such horrors. I have confidence in not selling. I've got shitloads of confidence in my own ability not to sell. Oh my god. Do I do it or not? Oh my god, what is it? Jamie, when squeeze happens, are you going to continue streaming? Well, during the squeeze, yeah. And afterwards, yeah, of course I am. You know, this is a long fight. Can you plug Ronaldo playing tonight? Yes. Well, that's important. Two things are important then. Ryan says, are you going to continue streaming? Yeah, definitely. You know, definitely. Like, I want to change the world, you know. And I don't want to change the world and then be like, yeah, it's changed, and think that actually makes a fucking bit of difference. It's like the world, people in the world, you know, and like, we need to like, people need to have a better idea what's going on with their money, and that's not a criticism of the people. Like, we need to do what we can to understand what's happening with our money. We need to do what we can. It's our own personal responsibility to do that, and I'm going to help all of us do that as best as I can, or contribute as best as I can to the collective now, during, afterwards, and I feel like I can make a difference streaming on YouTube. You know, some people slag it off or think it's trivial or whatever, and fair enough, because a lot of people who do it are shite. And I'm not talking about TA, just anything, but I'll still be here, still doing this stuff. Damn right I will be. And while it might be a completely different audience, because maybe all of yous will go on, I'll still be here, still doing it. So do might pop in every so often. 6 to 9 p.m. Tradespotting found your channel through Warden, so good luck to him. Yeah, exactly. And I've only spoken to Warden a number of times, maybe quite a few more times actually than I imagined, and I add it all up. But I don't know if it is that many. But I've always thought every time I've finished speaking to him that he's a nice dude. That's what I've thought, and I think also he got a lot of a hard, he's a young guy, he got a lot of hard time when he was speaking his mind on things. Now, whether or not people want to say that means X, Y, or Z, that's people will do that, but I think a big part of this movement that we're doing is that we're characterized by kindness. It's not a class movement really, because there's so many different people in it. It's people in this chat that are nice guy there, Sir David P, for example. There's lots of people in this chat from all sorts of different walks of life and society, areas of levels of society and whatever. I mean that in all possible senses of a phrase. There are, and what draws us together is what characterizes us mostly is obviously buy and hold, and then we're kind, I think, to each other. To get such a big group of friends across the world, most of them don't know who each other are, but will open arms and friendly with each other just because you're in GME or AMC or either. And that means that people from so many different places that would never have any occasion to speak to each other, would perhaps cross the road to avoid each other until recently, are now very good friends. And no fucking bastard is going to come in between them. So, what was I speaking to there? As Katie Babes would say, I think money management and risk control, the paramount to consistent, repeatable profits without really luck and gambling. Damn right, NDA and gambling ain't for nobody around here. Daniel, if you are keeping the fight after the squeeze, I am fully committed to sticking it to the bastards who rule the world until I expire myself. Yes, Daniel, I am engaging in all-out class warfare. Exactly, that's what it is. But there's the class that was undefined before, the 0.1%, and that's why I say it's our war. Like, their war is against us, us being everyone, and that's because it is. There are profit-driven motives, and it's to create as much profit as possible in as small a pocket, at a smaller little cabal as possible. And not a cult. No, definitely not a cult. Though it might be, it's up to you. You can call it what you want, and everybody's welcome to come and go as much as you like. And to have someone like Daniel on your side in any fight is absolutely amazing. Stephen Kimbler, $9.99. Just a $9.99. Stephen, you're a legend, mate. How you doing? 8-ball win expire. I don't know. Feels good, man. Feels good, man. It's possible you're all a figment of my imagination. It is possible, Katie. It's very unlikely. It's more likely that we are all a figment of somebody else's. Stephen Kimbler, $9.99. Thank you so much. DR Tradespotting. I just donated via the link in your description. Yes, to avoid fees. Yes, but it didn't show up in chat. Now I'm worried you didn't receive it. I will have. Yes, I'll check. Just checking I'm not putting the wrong thing up there. Rev, Jamie. Oh yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, I'll look at Rev. What else have I got to do? I've got to make the Busy Apes clip. I should do that when I've got energy. Tradespotting, you just need a standing desk so your posture stays good. Yeah, I do need a standing desk. I emailed to somebody. This is like, I usually take... D. Harker, $50. Boom! Yes! And then before it, Aaron, as well donated through that. That was amazing. And then there was the... Oh no, that was me paying out. Damn. Oh, I see. Just to cover recent donations that have come from PayPal and probably didn't make it onto the screen. I am a cult. I'm in a cult. Nice one. What's it called, Daniel? Are we allowed in as a secret cult? Is it this cult? In which case, I'm in it too. Dom. Buddy. Aaron. And all the people I paid things for. Boone. Sarah. Wow. Boone, Sarah. Justin. Just two Justins in a row. That's unusual. Different ones too. Bruce, Latoya, Bliss, Free Dead, Randall, Boone again, Stefan, Matthew, Wow, they're all the ones that are on. That goes back a while. But thanks so much. And I didn't read them out at the time, and I didn't see them on screen. They don't come on screen, so there isn't that like acknowledgement of it. And I'll try to fix that. I'll try and fix it again. But it's really generous of you, and it's really appreciated. And thank you so much. And the people who do that, they're obviously so that way I don't pay fees, which is great because the 30% on YouTube, or you don't pay fees, I suppose is the other way of looking at it. Thank you so much, D. And you didn't ask me anything. But we did the thing earlier. But you didn't ask me anything. I can do something if you want me. I hated hearing about Sean Locke. What happened with Sean Locke? It's not John Locke. Sean Locke. It's just very different. Not the famous philosopher. Not the famous philosopher. Right, I'm going to do the GMA clip. Tony Picus, email trace point. Yo, Tony, legend. How you doing, my friend? There he is. The very helpful, very nice Tony Picus. Tony. Grizzled Primate. How you doing? Gotcha, Shane. Yo, Grizzled Primate's here. He's a legend too. And he is good friend. Well, good friend, I don't know, I assume so, of all of ours, but also of Kirk, who's a good friend of mine, who I think was friends with Warden. So I don't know how that works. Maybe you'll know what's going on there. But people were saying like silly stuff and that. Is there anything up there? Is there something? Is he all right? I mean, I'd reach out to him if he wasn't. If you know me, is Warden all right? Is he all right? I hope he is. I'm not a big fan of people slagging people off on the internet unless that person's a fucking dick. And I don't think he is. I think other people are more worth your ire. Jamie, always a pleasure. Thanks for making me laugh and feel inspired today. You're a gem. Night. No problem. You're welcome, Carissa. Thank you. Tradespotting. I just donated. If someone wants some tea doing, then they can have some on me. It's true. Okay, good one. Anyone want anything, just let me know. What did we say we were going to look at? I'm missing on something. Another date. My ex-wife tried to take all my chairs and divorce, said I wouldn't stand for it. Did you table her counter offer? Everyone treat yourself to something nice today. Fancy drink, nice dinner, relax on the porch, pool, whatever. Just relax and let stress flow out. The shut headphones are screwed. I love it. That's good advice too. And if you can't afford a little Starbucks or an ice cream or whatever, no problem. Glass of tap water, if you can. And a little bit of a relaxing sit down where you think about how it's important to be mindful of your mind. Daniel, that sounds good. What does it sound good? The cult? It probably does. Tradespotting, you said you were making a busy 8 clip. I did. Thanks. Going to do that now. Tradespotting, I found you through Warden, but what was said earlier is sadly true from what I've seen. Sugar. Tradespotting, I said I'm somewhere in Kansas, not Kansas anymore. I haven't seen Dorothy or Toto either. Oh my goodness, where have they gone? Is the Wicked Witch? How did the Wicked Witch work? What was that parallel in their real life? Who was the Wicked Witch? Dreamslayer, he's Pickle Ticker. Tradespotting, Warden borrowed. Fuck. Holy shit. I hope he's alright. MyJack just gave me the worst answer to can you accept a possible crypto NFT dividend? They just answered we can accept cash or share dividends. Should I be worried? Your bank. No. No, not at all. Because if you want to accept a crypto dividend, should there be one, and to do that, and it's issued on the Ethereum network, then you'll definitely be a plethora of wallets, like more than there are for any other coin. You will be able to get a free wallet that'll be absolutely fine. I'd recommend a simple MetaMask one to get started, and probably that'll be all you ever need. And your bank, they would accept cash. What your bank would accept share dividends. They'd be paid in cash though, right? I mean, that would be like redeemable for cash, and they would just do it on your behalf. Is that what you mean? Whereas, they won't be able to accept NFT dividends in the same mechanism. But this is part of the reason why this complicated process, should it be that they are issuing a crypto dividend, apart from the legal aspect of it and how you need to let everybody know in advance of the method for distribution, and then the to be able to assure people that it itself has an intrinsic value, so that you then bestow certain rights to you, and then managing all that within the fact that it's going to then constitute itself a security, how you get through the legal aspect of all of that, it's like one thing. And like it's all really quite difficult, but in terms of like the process at the end of it for accepting the NFT crypto dividend, should there be one, that is actually be quite easy, simple, straightforward process that you'll enjoy watching, I imagine, while watching the thing turn up on your account. Bing bong, a pint for you. Please don't auction my eyes. Fish head. The delicacy of the fish eyes. Oh. That's a lovely alert. The chap that made these alerts is a total brilliant guy. So many amazing people. But no one knows about when he got really silly and made some really dumb plays. Wasn't exactly a friend of Girk. At Pi5 we feel that Warden was doing anything he could to hold on to the spotlight. Oh, right, okay. 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 Thanks. You would know what you're talking about, and that seems like quite a neutral perspective from you yourself. I respect that. Thanks very much for telling me that, Grizzled Ape. Thank you. Grizzled Ape, Grizzled Primate, same thing, right? No, it's very different, Jamie. Yeah. Well, my initial reaction to the comment I read mostly quietly to myself at Bud was, I hope he's okay, you know, hope he's okay. And, yeah. That's unfortunate. That's the way that things have evolved. But yeah, that's good, and I'm glad. Warren was taking a hard fall. Agree that he seemed like a nice person, but he got nasty towards the end. Oh, did he? We're all backloaded apparently. But well, that's not true. I mean, the prices are up near 150 something bucks, $57, and lots of us bought it when it was significantly cheaper. So I mean, don't know if that phrase works for everybody at all. Certainly not. Tradespotting TA, did I miss it all? No, we're right into it now, right? So the TA for Dizzy Apes, thanks so much, and I've missed things. Bing bong, a pint for you. Thank you so much, Fisthead, that's really appreciated. Daniel, who's like, thank you, Daniel. And Steven, so I think I've got them. Tradespotting TA for Busy Apes, here we go. Case guy reminded me of that. How long ago now? 30 minutes, and I'm now this is the other thing about not respecting the audience. Maybe because I think, oh, I'll add some on the end because that's like making up for the fact that I wasn't here when at the earlier part, is actually taking advantage of good people like Case, who's like got loads of other responsibilities and helped me out here. So I'm sorry, Case. I'm sorry. For fuck's sake, I got to do this whole thing better. Right, post when I start recording it. Hi, I'm Jamie. This is a TA for Busy Apes. I hope you are a busy ape and that you're enjoying this content that I put out here, because you freaking could be live streams and you'd be getting so much more out of them. Prices down at a degree of support here. I've got your historical volatility percentile and don't need that. And I do need the RSI just to go through this slightly quicker. So here we go. There it is. Yeah, so you're below the center line. You've spent a long time below the center line on this 4-hour timeline on GME, which is where we're starting in the middle, sort of, I suppose, between the higher ones and the lower ones. 4 hours around about the middle is slightly more significant than the hourly. It's important on this. It's very important. And we've dropped below the center line on the RSI. We've managed to, like, prices have been held below here for the entirety of this downtrend since our recent highs at 340 odd. Wait a minute, how high was that? Yeah, since our recent highs at that area started a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. Within that, we've always been kept below the center line of the RSI, apart from the odd touches, the 2 touches at the top of this channel, which were on the back of a counter trend move. That is moving back against the trend. You can see that the 50 period moving average is below the 200 period moving average on the 4 hour. It's a negative cross. You can see prices did manage to catch this 8 period moving average on this move up, just as they did temporarily on here. 1, 2, 3 closes above it. You get a big push. 1, 2, 3, big push, you see. Common of these sort of things. And at any time frame you're on, that's tend to be how they work, right? So you got a divergent second. No, you didn't, but you got that strength there. That was a 0.886 retracement. This isn't anywhere near as far. Never even made it to the 236 yet. Why is that important? Well, it's not just the 236. It's also the golden pocket of the Fibonacci. You'd be measuring that the retracement up the way from the move that took us up there to the right hand side of this big whoop cup. So you want to be covering that area, and the 618, the top of it comes under $177. The 236 looks like it's 178, so you could call it 179. The truth is, just above there is your 200 period moving average on the 4 hour. That's very significant. Sure, capturing the 50 is very important, and that will come here, as you can see. Maybe not. It's orange, and a lot of orange going on there, but it's between this 3 and 2 1 pixel orange lines. This little one here, it's your wick high. At the start of them, like at middle of lunchtime today. Glad you ignored this for the busy people. So you've got your touch on the top of that channel coming down, your retouch and support here. That's all perfectly legit, matches with everything it's been doing so far. Does the trend continue? Well, this is a higher high than here, so would that be interesting? Quite possibly. You've got divergence between these two lows, and that is very interesting. And this is a historical level of support that's very important, not just on the 4 hour, but even as far back as the weekly. So this was a good bounce. It was a pretty good place to enter. After you reach the top of a channel, you're expected to do some sort of a retracement. Let's measure how far that's gone. Back to the 0.5, you know, that's Dow theory suggests a 50% retracement is part of a positive trend, part of a trend. It's just a continuation after it bounces from it. So we'll see how that goes. If it goes down to the 618, that would be slightly more common for this asset, and it would also be in line with this area on the left where it dropped down before since its previous move up, and that's a good place to retest and a good place to move on from. It's also close to the mid-level of this channel, and to bounce from there, having tested the top, would be two bullish things at once. You'd be looking for it then to come in and put a higher high than this, asking for it to get all the way back above your horizontal support on the left here, which may well be where I've just left this line, because of this touch, because of like this wick and all these wicks, this breakdown here, this retest having broken down, this wick, all of this, and the big breakdown area from here, plus the recovery on the band of body close from this huge low back up again, means that that support and resistance maybe even trumps this 236 and 618, and the 200 period moving average there at the 4 hour. It's unlikely to drop down very quickly, very fast, because of the way that it's calculated. You know, it's an average of 200 closers, and as the some drop off, I mean, how many bars is this? Just briefly. 282, boom, boom, pew. So the bars that are dropping off it, well, there's a couple that are lower, one, and then wicks, and so we want to be above the 200 period moving average wherever it is, or else you'll be getting a negative slope on it, because all of the periods of price action before, other than these ones, they're all, like, vast majority of them are higher, which is why you see now that it's got a plateau and perhaps soon starting the downslope. So you want to recover above that. It's 50 period moving average. If you can recover the 50 and then go up and straight through the 200 and then get a positive cross and a retest of that area, that would be cool, and that would come in at around 200 at that point. I'd like to see that. It seems to me that GME has been following this trend quite strictly. It's met all of the criteria, but it's commonly been following it all to the letter until here. This was divergent low. It was also divergent on your RSI and your MACD, so across your momentum it was really divergent. You can see you've had a positive cross on your DI plus is above your DI minus. That's very positive. There's a retest afterwards, so what? You can get 4 or 5 of them, as you saw here, and it doesn't necessarily conclusive, or you can get more here, and again, 1, 2, cross, 3, up through again. You know, it doesn't necessarily dictate what's going to happen with the price, but you do want to see that. It's the start of a positive move. You need to see that, so that's good. The signal and MACD line I'm not particularly interested in at this time frame. That touch off the top of that channel, well, it's natural that there would be some drop back afterwards. 618, as I say, it's characteristic of this asset is it's where it's likely bounces, and at that point you're looking for a move, and it'll take you up to 236 at 177, and it just seems like that's what's going to happen. Does that happen by the end of the week? Well, it's wondering it, because please be nice, I've never done something like this. Whack wrapper locator. Whack wrapper locator. Whack can't be that hard. There's shitloads of whack wrappers. Right, so what was I talking about there? I can't remember when golden cross. Well, you're only ever going to see a golden cross on the daily time frame. So let's go up there. I've got to 4 hour and did most of our TA on that time frame already, right? On 4 hour golden cross. Well, you've already had it. It was your 50 above your 200 period moving average. You had it way back when? Back in the day, back there on the what day was that on? What day was that on, huh? That's an important day in the calendar. That's a very important day in the calendar, that golden cross. We love that. We don't actually, it's usually anticlimactic that day. Anyway, so you got a touch of that and the retrace 0.5618 of the Fibonacci it's in. That's cool. The Fibonacci extension targets on that, should it break down, are still higher than your breakdown point. So the lower end of this channel, does it get touched again? Well, you're going to go through this level here, this support line diagonally, and these important horizontals. Your 200 period on the daily time frame, you know, you're above it, so whenever you're above it, that's great. 200 back again, would you be losing some of the positive? Well, clearly not, right? It's 200. Right, so as you can see on the daily time frame, all the way back to here, you've got days and days and days and days of all of this price action that will drop off your 200 period moving average. And when they do, all of these ones are the ones that constitute what goes into the calculation, and these ones that are added on the end, they're higher than where their 200 is at the minute, so they're increasing average, so it's a positive slope, so that's very good. There's a negative slope on your 50 period moving average and you're below it, so that's not great, and you want to get above them. They both themselves have a positive splay. You'd like to have them both to have a positive slope. In order to do that, you're going to need to see prices above $200 again. Do you expect that the 200 and the 50 have a test? Not yet. No, I'd expect to see prices back up at around $250 before you even saw a test between 50 and 200. So we'll see how that goes, but that's what I'm looking at. And then the extensions to the top side on this thing, should you break out of it and break these previous highs, will take you all the way up to $500, $496, and then $592. And that's just this Fibonacci. There's actually other ones that are probably more important for measuring the extensions off. Anyway, that's the daily, and then if you did go onto the weekly time frame, look at it from here, boom, out auto, you can see you're above this 50 period moving average and the 36, and from a weekly time frame, everything's fantastic, positive splay, positive slope. You're below the 8 period, mind you. This is a very bullish trend, would always be above the 8 period, and that's significant because if we break out of this level of horizontal resistance and then recover prices just above these levels at the 618, the 236 that we mentioned earlier, and at around 178, then you're above that 8 period moving average on the weekly, and the opening and closing up there. It was another type of way of measuring like a big trend kicking off again, as I'll be able to show you, like opening and closing above it, right, is, that didn't work here. Oh, and then you got some more on that move. There's your close at 222, and the main difference went to 295. Open and close above it here. Open, close above it, big move. Open and close above it, big move, right? That's how this works. Dropping the bombs here, even for the busy folks, you know. Not as many as are dropping in the live stream, so they're missing out overall. But hey, what do I care? You know, they just think that you can tune and get the little bits and you're still going to get all the value, but they know because they've come from the live streams and they know, oh, there's hidden gems and I'm missing out on them, and it's true, you are. It's true. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Right. Obviously, this looks like a bounce. Well, let's move on to the next. AMC. I know what I'm going on to next. Okay, similar story. You're in downward sloping channel. This one looks like a bull flag more so than anything else. It's got this flagpole on it. This is quite extended now. You don't want it going on forever and ever. You've got your, on the weekly time frame, your 36 period moving average comes in at the bottom of this channel. It's likely that that would be support if you got there. It's also this top of this candle from the breakout zone, retesting of that and then going on would be a very bullish scenario. That's what it's done previously. You know, when it breaks through these highs and then puts in some sort of test on the candle that took it out. So break through its highs and we'll see the candle that takes it out, and where that might mean there's a retest. But see here, you know, didn't quite break it down again to that breakout candle, but it was down to its previous high before it broke out, as you can see over on the left here. They know we're on the weekly time frame, so that means it's both more reliable and slightly more patient you'll have to be for anything to work out. But that's interesting that high was this low, and so this high, does it constitute this low, or is it this gap and breakout? And this gap is like screaming to be filled. And in the 36 period average, this is a weekly time frame, and that's as much as you're getting that, other than to say that the RSI is doing well. It's in this uptrend. It's holding above the center line. It's aiming back for the bullish control zone. That's very positive. You've got no trend change, which is signified by the volume. You've got a golden cross on the weekly has come through here, and that's fucking awesome news. And does it prices come back and test one of these? Well, it's so far above it that that's unlikely. And in such circumstances, it may only come to the 36 period moving average, exponential moving average. It may only get there. Having put in a cross and trying to test a moving average, and you're talking about the weekly time frame on a really extended move, and that might be the way that goes. On the 2-day period, you're moving. You see, you got that test of a 50 period. You went back to the top of the channel. You see, you reached this. You can't maybe see it here, but you got to the 618 of that breakdown. That's like a very good move. It's also likely to be where it drops back again. Since then, that drop has taken you back inside this channel. That's totally understandable. But prices then haven't collapsed, and they're above this 8-period moving average on that 2-day time frame, along with the 50, which provided good support and bounces after this low and this recovery. So that's good. Drop down to the daily. Yep, very extended move there. 1, 2, 3, not with the right body close on this middle one to give an even bigger move, but not bad in this bullish engulfing pattern overall. But this drop down is natural. Having tested that 618, having filled within that channel, you can see why that would be important. Above it there, you've got your 50 period moving average coming in at 43.85. So even if you did break out, you'd be looking to break above there, and as you look left, you can see that support and resistance on that is quite strong. So it's likely that you'd be then wanting to move out of this and put in a sign of strength before you went up and tested some sort of resistance. Otherwise, you'll just come back down again from it. So a sign of strength would be testing support and then moving up from a secure test, and an obvious body close on a 4 hour in particular would be fantastic. Looking at the RSI on this time frame, that would be the daily. You can see you're above the center line. You've captured the moving average. You've come from accumulation above the bearish control zone. You've got a positive move on your RS and your MACD and the histogram, along with hugely bullish divergence. And a positive cross on your Rocket Club DMI. That's great, but you want to see that strengthen and drop down to the 4 hour again where we came from, just to check that same better. And then 1 hour. Yep, your trend is strengthening, and that trend is to the upside. You want to see a positive slope on your DI plus there. You can see that you have potentially got a negative cross on the MACD and signal line, but then you're above the 200 period moving average, right? Yes, and that move is likely to take you to the 200, possibly the 36, but that would be as much as you expect on it. May well come back then, test the 35, 45 and go on, or even like slightly higher, because your horizontal level there is about 35.77, or alternatively using the body candle closes at 36, in which case those sort of areas are like where we are at the minute really. 200 on that hourly, that'll be put people by. It's also horizontally in interest to some people. 15 minutes there, rolling over perhaps, cross, negative momentum, looks bad there, below center line, below the EMA. And now you get here and you think, well, actually let's go back up because that's negative, and you think, looking at that, that's actually then failed. 1, 2, 3 touches, haven't got in lower high here, maybe even potentially a swing failure coming up. Let's see. If it drops below the center line on the hourly, that's not great. 4 hour hadn't made it to the oversold zone. You can see that it had done better than it had done here, but that's way below price action at the time. Not way below, but it is below it. Not to you really. Can you give me your opinion on the situation in Afghanistan? I feel like too many people have a horrible opinion about it. My opinion on it is they fucked it up many years ago. And when I'm talking about that, I mean like in the 1800s. Britain first did it when they went in and had this stupid ass war over there, and then retreated. And the whole time they retreated, it was a disaster. Then it happened again. and happened with the Russians, and then it's happened with the Americans. What do I think about it? I'll go into it in 2 seconds and just finish this busy ape scenario. So touching the top of that channel, likely you'll see some sort of a retracement after the back of that, mate, and the 236 would be normal. I haven't touched the 618, accumulate there and go on. That'd be really positive. It'd be in around the basis line and center line of this channel, so to speak, because that's this horizontal resistance as well. That area important because of these low touches previously around the 15th of July. I would kind of at this point, having seen the lower time frames, and cool, it's doing well post market, it's up 0.14%, and there's a lot of reasons why this, and the DD says this is very bullish, but the chart's telling me that where a good entry is, and despite how well it might perform if it does break through here, which I'd love to see, the chart still shouts out about like how important, even if it's not saying the prices are going here, it's just so loudly saying this is a risk management area, and then this is even better. And wherever price goes, you have to acknowledge that there's these gaps. I don't know if that's a big one, but it's significant. But there you can see one which you've already filled, and people would have told you maybe that's not going to happen. Well, nearly every gap ever fills. You also got a gap down here, but do I see that one being filled? I don't know, right? I don't know. That would be quite far. Do I see it being filled now? Certainly not right now. And is it on other time frames? Possibly not. I didn't notice it earlier and didn't see it on the daily. Then I tend to ignore gaps most of the time. So then we'll go back up to the daily and see. Yes, well, that was actually quite strong, and we've got bullish divergence, but you've had that there's a positive cross there, and it's just coming above the center line too, so that's positive, and this thing might even hold here. So the jury's out. Longer time frames, it could even still be at a top. It could not even be a top, and it could still keep going. Shorter time frames, it does suggest some sort of a pullback, and we'll see where that retrace is. Being within that formation, you have to manage your own expectations and say, well, within this, until such times as you've broken out of it, then really haven't changed all that much. So bear that in mind. So that is the tea on those things, and because we touched on it earlier, I'll just tell you, you're missing out on not doing the live streams, because we cover all sorts of different things that people look for in chat and ask questions about, that make money, that fund their lives, and they have good lives, and then because you've seen a live stream before, they can be good, and they're getting better, and you're missing out. All down here on SPY, we talked about this move. This is important. Other people like go out in their own YouTube and like, well, I can talk about what's going to happen on SPY, and they can't, right? And they talk shite. Whereas people like Rocky and myself, like, have we good information? We could have good information. And then over the piece, it all adds up. And that move's been coming for a while, so we'll see how far it goes. Another couple of days on it, and it would be part of its cycle for lows. It's also coming in with its 50-period moving average on that daily time frame at the bottom of this formation. And there's another wedge that it's in. All of these formations are negative. It all looks slightly dangerous. Does it speak to complete and utter disaster? Well, there is the chance of a 10% move on SPY all the way down to 400. Test the 200 period moving average on the daily time frame, and also fill in like this gap here at 400 and something bucks. And does it look like that'll happen? Well, there's lots of areas to catch it beforehand, but yeah, it kind of does look like it might happen. Does it look like it'll happen right now? I don't know about that. I would only say that after it's broken other levels, and that 50 period that I was talking about in daily, that's important. So there's a little touch of SPY for you, and it's interesting what's going on there. I'd pay attention to it. We also had a quick look at the VIX, and obviously it's up a lot, 20%. Broken the 200 period moving average, but it is also in this formation that you can see. No, not really. Not really. 2 touches doesn't mean anything. You wouldn't necessarily even draw these sort of things on this chart. I don't know. There. Aye, totally perfectly within reason. Still, this looks like a negative channel to me. It's about volatility. Perhaps it's going to turn into a wedge. Check those bodies and those quick closes, and you can see it is. And then perhaps you're looking for it to drop down again, and then you've got a huge volatile spike coming on this. And bearing this in mind in combination with SPY, this is your VIX, and you get a lot of good trades. You can. There, you'd look to see that drop below the 200 period moving average at some point. When it does, we'll see what goes on. This isn't indicative of direction on SPY, it's just a volatility, though that volatility has been increasing, obviously. So there's a bigger picture of those various formations you might be looking at, some wedges, some channels, and important moving averages. We covered lots today. It was great. That's the tips, the Busy Ape section. Thanks for tuning in. Now I'm going to answer some live stream questions for people, and then get on with my evenings. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like button. Thanks. And comment and share and stuff like that. I really need the videos need your help like they do, but thanks. Boom. That's the clip, so I'll upload that when I'm finished. And what was it I missed out on? Did anybody say anything I didn't answer? There's the Afghanistan situation. You know, like big believer in that quote, "Man's inhumanity to man," you know, and how that persists in war. You know, I mean, no one's really interested in my opinion on that aspect of things, maybe. I think the situation in Afghanistan is a fucking disgrace, you know. You make promises to people and you don't keep them. I know that there's lots of aspects to put people across, like Biden, for example. Now, I'm just not criticising Biden. Don't hate me if you like Biden or whatever. And then I don't really have much of opinion on him, other than I'd like to see him do a good job. But he talks about it in such excusatory terms, like, it's not my fault, you know, somebody else's policy. I'm just sticking to it, and I'm trying to help people because, you know, we can't do this forever and whatnot. And it's like, that's all true. Nobody's arguing that with you, though, are they? What they're arguing is that you're fucking up people's lives because of the way you're making your decisions, and those people are people who can't fix their lives on their own because of the situation that they're in their own country, which they were like. But then that's that argument too. It's their own country, so why don't they do something about it? And so that's another thing I come back to at the end of the day. And I know I live in a country, and if I wanted that country to do something, I wouldn't put it on the country itself. I'd say it's upon my own shoulders to make it different. Tradespotting, we are always interested in your opinion. So that's my opinion, really, is that if people want to make their country better, the first person that you're going to have to look to do that is yourself. And Afghanistan's going to have to fucking do that like it's never had to do that before. And I say that ironically because it's actually had to do something very like that 3 or 4 times before over the last few hundred years. Afghanistan's a really poorly located country. Its geopolitics are fucked because of its location, obviously. That's the way that shit works. It's surrounded by people who all want a piece of it. China, Russia, and then, you know, American influence relatively close. I think that much of the argument about terror is distorted, but that isn't to say that there weren't and aren't now again a bunch of fucking bastards. So this is the people we were all against, and that I'm talking about there. And I don't know, you know, and like, what's my opinion worth? I know you guys might be interested in it, but it doesn't hold any validity with regard to, you know, me judging other people or their systems of society or democracy or justice or finance or any of those things that are also very different there. I don't know. And I know that a lot of people in Afghanistan are very poor, so they look to these other states that they might think are more similar to themselves than the West, and they see them and look at them as Arab Emirates and so on. They think, that might be counter to their own philosophies and beliefs and religions, and I understand that difference that they have and that, and respect it as well. But what's important for us now is this point in time when we're alive. It isn't 1800s and it isn't 2400s. It's now. And if you're going to do a job, you should try and finish it properly. You shouldn't cause undue and unnecessary problems. And it seems to me that has happened. And I don't know, but I'd suggest that there's a lot of tragedy involved in that story, an awful lot, and there's 18,500 people subscribed to this channel, so like everyone will have loads of different opinions on things, and I'll tell you that I know for a fact, and I know personally, that there are people here who've got who've lost so much because of that war. People here, and those that will never be replaced. Now, you can't say that so many people need to make further sacrifices because of some other sacrifice that has been made in the past. You can't go down that never-ending route. But fuck, you can really fucking do something wrong. Like, you can just do something the wrong way. Nah. Can't save everyone, true. Feel bad for the results of planes. Feel bad for everyone. American government has become the opposite of America actually represents a long time now, but coming to a head, connections will occur at some point, likely won't be pleasant. Yeah, and there's so many people on both sides of the political divide in America who feel like the government has let them down a lot. I know that, I know I can sense that a lot, and over here it's very similar feeling. There's a democratic deficit. You don't get what you vote for, and what you vote for you're unlikely to get in both senses of those sentences. I wish I knew the fucking answer. I wish I knew the answer. Nothing lasts forever. True story, Andy. Thanks for the reply, Algo. No problem. It's a disaster. It's a human tragedy on all aspects of it, and it's a disgrace that people that have lost and sacrificed have to see it in front of their eyes. Like, it would make me even more angry than I am at the minute, which is very angry. So I don't know, I don't know. And I also don't like this idea of judging America. Like, I think it's really naive to judge America. It's like somebody, it's like a little child in the family criticizing their father or something, like as if they know what's going on. They have no way of even conceptualizing the responsibility that adult has for them and their own lives and future people who haven't even been born yet. So I don't like it when people just slag America. I think that's more reflective of them than the thing they're talking about. But at the same time, yeah, there's definitely places where things could be improved. Greedy fucking bastards. Greedy fucking bastards. Yeah. What was the Gandhi quote? The world can only supply everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. That's a good one. When has the US not been at war? Well, not like the last 19 or 20 years just have been with Afghanistan, eh? And then before that was, or was it after? It was after. It was Iraq, wasn't it? And also in the meantime, I suppose, and also in Libya, also in Syria, and then lots of intense peacekeeping in Africa, east and west, and north, and soon possibly the south as well. And then the situation in Ukraine. There's an awful lot of human lives. An awful lot of human lives. I don't have the answer. I do have the answer. Fucking answer is GME. That's what the fucking answer is. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Tradespotting show, where we covered GME, AMC, SPY, VIX, something called AQ something. And then we also touched on other little bits and bobs here and there. I can't remember what it was. Was it MAT? Was it? I don't know. It was up 3.4% on the day it's come up. That's a nice move. If it can hold these moving averages and go on, that'll be positive. I see that it's come down for Rick and Morty lips. I did wait to see how that ADX slope on that evolves. I've got positive moves on your MACD, RSI. If that can then recover and hold the center line, that's very positive. I know it's only the 15 minutes on hourly. Yeah, not bad, right? You've got a trade on here as well, have we? Nope, not yet. Oh, fuck, I'm expecting a drop, am I? Well, there's your cross and then uncross. You've got divergence on your MACD and on it, not on RSI though. Well, this will probably take you no more than the 200 period moving average at 350, and then you're back on at that move downwards. Tradespotting, love you, brother. Yeah, well, he was. I mean, Casey was right there. It was a huge waste, and it wasn't just money. It was also waste of lives of good people for other people's agendas, and that. And they tried and did a good job themselves, and then sent you Vix Fix video on Discord. Nice one. Cheers, Stefan. Legend. Tradespotting. 2 feckin' right. The answer is GME. This isn't just about making money. This is about fixing shit. Capitalism has made more kings than feudalism ever did. Fucking right. And it's not capitalism that's the problem. I'm telling you, it isn't. It's the bastards that have used and abused it for their own ends. This idea that it's all about exclusively profit-driven values. That is the antithesis of capitalism. We know that that's not sustainable and doesn't fucking work. And capitalism is fucking economics, isn't it? It's maths. It isn't about coming up with some stupid fucking framework. We were like, oh, I've done it, guys. I've come up with the fucking answer. I've invented this new concept that's going to make the world work. I fixed everybody's fucking problems. No, it isn't, you stupid idiot. It's capitalism. It was always like that. It's maths. You know, and when somebody tells you the free market doesn't work, it does work. It doesn't need this stupid idea of an efficient market hypothesis, neither. Nor does the world need some devastating crash. And we're not letting you away with some stupid robbery, neither on GME or anything else. It's all different now. Tune in for more of that difference tomorrow, 6 to 9. Every day, 6 to 9. Thank you for everybody who tunes in here, especially the moderators. You guys are doing such good favor for me, such good job for everybody. It's really appreciated. I don't know where I'd be right now without moderators. I'd probably be banned. Thank you so much. And you're a big reason why a lot of the audience who do come back do, especially yourself, Case. Wow, what a massive contribution you've been to the channel. It's incredible. Super. Daniel, Megan, Uncle Megan, Hayes Jones, Lisa Anderson, Stephen Kimbler, Fishhead, Ape, Ahodl, Algo. Wow, didn't see that time. Thank you, Algo. Jeremy Coleman, Paul McAvoy, another Pitstall, Ill Prophet, and then Taximus Maximus. Testudo! We are the market now, exactly. And we're going to follow Maximus and the way he does things. I haven't been able to tune in lately, but boy, do I miss you, buddy. Chris K, miss you. Nice headband. Tradespotting, I promise you everything that is evil, not bad. Evil leads back to the monarch. Tradespotting, I promise you. I saw that. I see it a few times. I got it. I promise you everything that is evil, not bad. Evil leads back to the monarch. Well, I'm not a fan of kings myself, though if they are a king, they would be better off ruling their own country and getting the fuck out of mine. We need to fix all this shit if we can. Yeah, we do need to fix it. It's on us. As Gandhi himself said, that Alexei seems a bit fucked up, man, like him. Same bat time, same bat channel. Tomorrow, Doomslayers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Didn't mention everybody by name. Look, it's our market now. Yep. This is the start of a completely new thing. Nobody really understands the ramifications of us. Keynesian economics, you want to have, well, there's 2 theories on it, and then there's a competing ideology that was dismissed at the time. I'd love to talk about Keynesian economics with some more. Not my king, I didn't vote for you. There's a true story, never has it been a true word said. We get the Doomslayer hype song on the outro. Pum 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 pum. Yeah, this one, we can have this one on. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Right. So what have I got on this larger picture anyway? Me, larger. Thank you, everybody. This song's like a nice shower. Before I start it, which I've already done, but Ronaldo Moreno, check out Ronaldo Moreno. He's got a live show tonight, so if you've subscribed before, check him out tonight and see how good he is. He's amazing. You'll enjoy it. It's not something you necessarily have to engage with, but if you do, you'll enjoy that part of it too. It's easy to slap it on in the background there. Ronaldo Moreno on YouTube. He's a really nice guy. If you haven't met him, you like him, please subscribe to his channel. You'd be doing the world a good deed today if you did that. Think about Ronaldo Moreno. Don't stop thinking about him. Fall in love with the guy and his music.
When the shadows first lengthened, one stood. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that tasted the bite of his sword
Bzzz. Did that get all echoey because I had my mic up the whole time? Quite possibly, quite possibly. Stay tuned for Tradespotting Rocky Outcrop 4 to 6 series, the most epic MOAS DD strategy ever. GME community starving for great DD content. The time is now. Well, like Stefan, you're getting me hyped. You're getting me hyped now. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? And I'm supposed to be not hyped right now because it's the end of the show. 278. That's, well, it was supposed to be 279, but it's the same thing, you know, when you're up that level and you're going to 4 hour or the 1 day. It's very, very interesting, isn't it? How I could just slap it on there and you're like, well, look at that. Look how interesting it is. Look how price action moved around the line on those time frames. Isn't that strange? And has he ever talked about that before? Maybe I have, actually. I'm not sure if I can remember that. But not often. Not often. Oh, I'm back in a good mood now after getting seriously peeled off about people. Not you guys, obviously, but the people that run the world. Sounds like a Slipknot riff. Corey, what did you ask me to do earlier that I forgot to do? I didn't do it. What was it? I was looking at Rev here. 1075. 1.9 on the day, touching that low from before. Not bad. You come in. Of course, your 278 period average on the 4 hour time frame is proving to be significant. Anyway, yeah, it's like, I mean, it's there's your touch and there's your hill below it, and you're also now below the 50, and 50 itself has crossed below the 200, and after that you've come down, tested historical support here. I mean, there's so many places where that'd be interesting. That all the trades that have happened in this area, the vast majority of them have come in at this area. All the sales and the buys, hence that's what happens when prices turn around to sales and the buys, regardless of it's the top or the bottom. Most of them seem to have come in around there. I'd say that's where the significant volume on this period of price action has been. If we draw a Fibonacci on it, it would have to be coming from these lows up to these highs. I know we're on a 4 hour, so it's encompassing a lot of different price action here. No, that's the wrong one to be clicking on. No, it was the right one. Boom, bang. So you're coming up, there's your high. You're back at this 382, you drop below the 236. Does that mean you go all the way down to here? Well, you've got lots of other negative things on the go on the 4 hours that are pushing you down to where you've got to at the minute, really. And there's the 382 there. You have tested that once, twice, 3 times. Let's look at the indicators. Either it goes down loads more or it bounces here and it's very bullish. Below the center line, doing that above the bearish control zone is positive. This price action here that was lead you into the downtrend with this big move up on RSI and then still being above it here, either suggestive of a bit of a dip as happened here. Nah, it's different now. It's different. This is relatively weak, but that speaks positively to the trend because it's still so high up. You've got a crappy neither here nor there on your MACD, and you've got a really, really weak strength of trend to the top side on this. But then the downside trend is also incredibly weak. We do have a positive slope on ADX, but that doesn't mean anything. Wow, you're getting so little of this. On the hourly, at least it's telling you that there is a downtrend. Like, it's the first information you've actually got off any indicator yet. Oh, well, I mean, you could have looked at other time frames and that you would have got them. Here's some divergence as well. Positive. Not quite through there, but it's accumulating now above the bearish control zone. That's positive. You want to see that move towards the center line. You want to see this move towards the 200 on the 1 hour. On the 15 minutes, bullish, 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 bearish, very bearish. So this itself is going through the 38 as there's a positive slope on the ADX. But there's that horizontal support in that, so we'll see how it does. Because it's got a mix of both things and it's not really telling you much. Also, I mean, you're on the 15 minute here, but no problem there. Held by this 236 and a 50 period moving average at that point. That was obviously going to come back, so I wouldn't put too much on that turnaround here, and I'd wait to see how it does. When if it reaccumulates here above the oversold or bearish control zone, however you want to put it, then it'll come back up and touch the 200 period moving average again. If it also, I mean, well, if it closes above the 236, open closes, it's not much of a telescoping jump to get up there, and probably wouldn't also be breaking this yet. So yeah, and your 618's all the way up there, so you could see it get to there, and it wouldn't be a big deal. On the hourly gain, it's not even breaking horizontal support and resistance. It could do that in V-shaped recovery and look like tweezer bottom and whatnot, and still only make the 618 and that. And so you want to go beyond that to see any sort of recovery up at the 886 will be joint with this previous high, and probably takes like a bounce off the 200 on the way up, even if it does go, and then consolidates at the 236. You'd like to see that, and then you'd look back at this and say it's a low, it's a local low, and it's divergent from here, and you'd push for some other topside action. Likely it would stop at the 200 and then the 618. But if a retest came before that, then maybe you'd look up further, and the targets on it would be $13, and then moving on up again. And if you are looking at this on a bigger time frame, see, again, it's had to come, well, like maybe the most volume this has ever had. Certainly, the most volume this thing's ever had came in at that low there. And it's not like girls aren't going to be using makeup anymore, it's just that they weren't going out of the house quite as much, so the fake faces didn't mean as much. Is it Revlon do makeup in it? Yeah, they do mascara. So mass confirmed when I see two strong buy flashes on the histogram bars in the daily frame time. Nope. Tradespotting, can you do a follow up on Sophie? Yeah, sure, I'll do it really quickly. What time is it? I should be away somewhere. It's after 10. Let me see. Sophie. You look, Blackberry's up 5%. That's not bad, guys. You're doing well on that. What was the trade we said on this? Oh, it was good. Oh, it was good. Oh, it was good. Oh, and if it breaks out of this pennant off of that trade, fucking hell, that's going to be kind of crazy, though that might not happen yet. Where is Sophie at? There it is. Up 3.42% on the day. How's that then? Doesn't look like it's at, what's the weekly I'm at? Okay, 4 hour, touched that 236 and came back again, stopped out of this. Where is that? Can I even see a trade there? This must have been, was this before this happened and it got to the two? It must have, this obviously wouldn't have drawn it over price action, so I imagine this was an entry here, it came back, you got it, and then it went up to the 200. Is that what happened? It was on 4 hours? Yeah, it probably was. Didn't get that, but maybe you got something like that trade to drop back down afterwards and a new low in this trend. Whoa, frickin' hell, like the gap there and then the cross on your DMI, Rocky Aircraft DMI there, that cross, brutal, with your DDX going, turning down again. You got your cross on the momentum and your, ugh, God, straight from bullish to bearish control zone, vomp. That huge gap, what was that all about, eh? So like you got this gap and then that's very tradable. Top side of it's also the 236 of that Fibonacci that was on before, but that now is wrong because this is the low, so not wrong, but it needs updated. What did that do, the top side of things? And I'm on log, yes I am, and that looks okay on the top side. Yeah, it's perfect. Right, so yeah, you're looking for a 236 retrace of this. That was good, this was okay. 4 hours at 8 period moving average. Death cross again. Well, not again, but there it is. Like, right, so you had that test of the 200 since your cross happened, and then after that, after your test, immediately prices then up and below the 50 period. Fucked people over, that did. Yeah, I don't even know, I've deleted that thing, I can't even tell if that's below your stop or whatnot and how that'll have performed. I don't know, right? Hopefully you did it well and managed your risk as the prices were going up. But anyway, regardless, you want to recover this small period moving average, and you can see that there is divergence between and its previous low, and that's not too far of a look back period. In all honesty, it is your previous low that you're looking at. Between the two of them, you are divergent. You were divergent on them, prices went up and touched 200 period moving average. You're divergent again. Did they go up and touch at least the 15236? Nearly definitely. It's up at 1562. That's not much from 1422. Well, it is actually. It's a significant percentage. It's very tradable. Hey, it's very tradable. Where do you get in though? It's very difficult to manage your risk on this. Well, it would be the candle body close Daft looking for an entry here. You probably want to already be in it. If that means that you've had to get in it over here and then or wherever that trade was at the time, now I can't see, then you're looking for this 236 retrace. Where do you add to these things? I don't know if you do right now. Like, to be honest, there's a 50 period. You're back within this sloping line. What is that on higher time frames? Oh, it's this triangle. Ah, right, okay. Yeah. And you dropped outside it with a gap. Yeah, so it probably comes back inside. It'll obviously test it. The longer it takes, the higher that test will be. There is this 236 is from what part is that? That's the low here to this high. So this Fibonacci is this one. This is what we're looking at. That 236. It's the same as this one. Go away then. That was wrong anyway. That was down to top. So yeah. Golden pocket on this thing. That's also where you came up and tested what was where the 50 period were on daily. And then where's your 200 period of an average on this yet? Doesn't exist yet, right? Or does it? There it is there. Nope, that's a little down a sloping triangle. It's not around yet. Your 200 period is not showing up. It's fashionably late, but it's not. It's always on time, right? Bounce to the bulk of that. That's quite a big thing there. That's positive. Good. That's good. It's very like that. Horizontal there. You never really got open and closes below it, did you? Technically, that I suppose it would be, but it's very close. Not if this is your support. Not really. It's right on it. It's not lower than your previous fib. And peaks and troughs so oftenly do form pivot points, so we'll see what happens there. If it doesn't hold, then you're looking at a drop 13.33. At that point, you're nearly guaranteed to get a bounce. So yeah, Sophie, this is a place you would be buying it. You'd be managing your risk at various places in around 13.17. I wouldn't like to see it going lower than there, and that would be even better entry should it just now fail again. And this was a really strong cross across the time frames. That recovery of the center line wasn't enough. Yeah, I can easily see this back at the 618, if not at the 0.5 thing. It just needs a positive move that takes it above this thing here, and then so much stuff's happened. It's just asking for it. I think I can easily see it. Can't easily see it, but that doesn't mean it's easily going to happen. Why is your 278 period moving average in and your 200 isn't? Because it what? It is there. I'm on a different time frame. That's why, Jamie. Aye. 300 you're looking to recover, there's your 50 you're looking to test, and one of them will come after the obviously they'll come after the 886 and that, and you went through it. That's a disaster, and really it's a lower low than there. That's like really shit. It's going to be a stop loss like hunt. There'll be loads of people who have stopped out on that, and then see how it evolves. Doesn't look like there's any strength to the downside really. I mean, yeah, sure, that was a huge change and a terrible cross, and it went straight from it, and then this was a massive drop off, but that's not significant. Like, doesn't signify trend. You know, and the fact that that happened from inside the triangle rather than when it had broken any trend is weird. And then maybe this speaks to the momentum that talks about how it was going to drop here, and like that was obviously at the zone where it might drop down from, and here you were at the 38, and this has turned around there a number of times in its life before. So like the pivot thing happened, but that seems to have played out with regards to this turn up on the. So we'll see. It's all about that 236. It's all about it. But if you recover that, then this is bollocks. Was a stupid bollocks fake out. It was just here to wash people out, take their trades, stop them out, and then get back up to 236 and go on again. And that looks like what this is going to do. Whether it makes it to 618 or not is debatable, but it's like seems stick on. It'll come in and test that 0.5. Sure, you could change this now if you wanted to. You would have to really. But not really actually, because it's a 4 hours. So like I'm saying, if you go back up onto like the daily, you've had the move that took you down, right? That can't count. So this is 1 and 2, right? Okay, daily, yeah, sure, fair enough. But then we're on weekly, and you're like, well, it's just slipped out of it, and let's see how the rest of this week goes. Is it the end of the world for this thing? No. No, there's lots of other things you could draw on this too. Like people have got this on their charts, I'm sure of it. In which case they would just extend that down and say, well, let's see. This line is likely to play a role in future as well. It's the weekly time frame. It's in the bottom there. There's an obvious bounce area from the diagonal. It's an obvious bounce area from the body close on the horizontal. And the move, that doesn't say much. None of this tells you very much there. It's the same story. It's just it happens so rapidly, and the gap and whatnot with it as well. It's like I mean, I've seen that go straight back. No volatility indication coming up on this, and there wasn't one at that point either. So it wasn't like it built up. That was bollocks. What was that, man? And that gap too. What was that? What you want to see is this trend go back, like just flip back. Maybe not quite as fast, but you would expect to see it tested on the other side. Haven't done that because that's just not normal. Here's your 50 on a 50 period. We have an average of 15 minutes. You broke above it there and put in what? This is usually divergent, and then there's like no test of anything significant above, and it comes down again. But this horizontal over here, well, it already broke above that. There's no reason for that. This, like, no, that wick's higher. It's above the 50 period. That's, you know, this is bollocks, right? This is going to go up and tries 1564. Why is it doing that? This negative trend overtaking it on the lower time frames now. But radix and DI down, this down. Why is it doing that? Why is the fucking ass falling out of this thing? Was there some bad news that's following this thing around? Well, now is that what I'm supposed to get out of this? I don't get how Sophie is related. Katie Babes, somebody asked about Sophie, I think, and he's trying to learn Sophie. Oh, SOFY. Am I doing the wrong one? Pump and dumped. This has been pump and dumped. Yeah, I just don't know why. I can only see Jamie. It could be worse. Could be worse. This is for somebody who asked about Sophie, and perhaps I'm doing the wrong one because they maybe wanted SOFY, which I haven't got on here. Solly, if that's what you was looking for. And if you were looking for SOFY, there you go. It hit a special. It hit as a special acquisition company. Cool. Early investors were able to sell early on the end of the day weight. See, and dumped it. Fell 90% in July, and that's a Google search on Sophie. Oh, SOFI. I am doing the wrong one then, maybe. Or am I not? What am I? SOFY. No, you said SOFI. So this is the one I've got. SOFI. Yes. So this is the one I was looking at. The one you were talking about. KT. Right, so early investors were able to sell before everybody else. I really don't like mechanisms put in like that. It's like, well, obvious what's going on when you sell it to that person in the first place. You're like, hey, you can dump on the early investor. You can dump on retail. You'll be able to dump on them. Isn't that exciting? Like, it's like, why do people invest in that? It's like, well, I thought you said it was a good investment. Now you're telling me, like, you're giving me like the ability to dump on retailers. That's you're giving me this extra risk management so that I'm more confident in giving you money because I'll be able to claim it back off some retail investor later on down the road. It's like fucking shite, eh? Yes, so that's a negative cross, that's that. Anyway, so he was talking about it, Katie Babe, because somebody asked for it, obviously, a silly Billy. It hit as a special, I was like, oh, that was that. No, you're good, thanks. It's SOFI. Okay. Well, I don't feel good, lol. Katie Babes, you should feel wonderful. You're a lovely person. You're amazing at what you do for Rocky. You're a great contributor to the community. As far as I can tell, everybody really likes you, and I think you're a very nice person. Thank you very much. You shouldn't feel bad. You should feel fucking fantastic, Katie Babes. And for what you say about your boyfriend, he seemed like a nice chap too. I think you're doing very well, and I think I'm glad you're here. Sophie's correct. Thanks, Case. So it went up a significant percentage today. I do think this has got levels above that it'll test. Yeah, sure, it was a pump and dump and did stuff, but the charts say, actually the charts say it's putting in lower lows and lower highs, and it's doing it, and it's annoying, and it's in that channel, and something needs to change, and if anything it's coming up, and there will be a chance for that to happen now, but it hasn't happened yet. And the RSI is dramatic, like it behaves very dramatically, like this is a really stroppy, dramatic chart, you know, like like that, eh? Like what? Even when it's going up, it's like whoa, and then down, whoa. Like no, like I mean, most of the things you'll have been used to, even if you never looked at a chart before, you'll have seen it. Like they do all this stuff. The center line's important. Its own moving average is important. Its previous highs and lows are important, and all through trends, these things count. But this is like no. It's like a fucking. This is behaving really, really like a teenager. That straight to the bottom of the oversold. That's that shit you're talking about, isn't it? And that's 13th of August. Well, maybe it is when they dumped on them. And then this since. There's a 15 minutes. Where's the other ones? Oh, the other one's this bigger picture on this. Here it was lower, was it? No, it isn't. Here? Me. There it is. This was them being dumped on. Tradespotting can't see the RSI. Oh, sugar, sorry. Yeah, you guys can't see the RSI after all tapping on the wrong screen. This is unreasonable technical analysis. It's not. Sometimes it's silent, so you don't hear any voices, and then other times it's only the voice and it's mumbled. And I'm talking about stuff that I'm relying on visual. Oh, JC is me. Keep up the great work. One day I'll use a super chat for a question. JC is me. Okay, JC is me. You have been knighted. Truth is, you're much more help to other people than I probably am to you. JC is me. You've got a very nice attitude. You've got a very confident way of talking about things, and I think you help people just being around. And now you've been knighted, my lord. Welcome to your newfound responsibility. Not a moderator in the typical sense. I know a lot of people, like practically nobody that's ever going to be a moderator on my channel will have thought to themselves a year ago, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a moderator for a YouTube channel. Not a single one of you have ever have thought that. That would be maybe the opposite thing you'd have ever thought. And this is why you is here now doing that job, because, you know, it's a different kind of thing. It's a different kind of job where you just be nice to people. Wait, what? Yes, you've been moderated. You have been knighted. My lord, JC is me. Rocky Outcrop, Grace Foundation, dropping a message here in case you see it someday to say that I'm sending you love and buddy and hope you're well and your needs as well. Nice message. What? Yep, Dale, welcome to the family. But I don't know which ones Jamie's and Rocky's use. What are we talking about now? The face can't stop. I've been trying the fibs. If been trying fibs. If been. Keep up the great work. One day I'll use it. Thank you so much, JC is me. You're a legend, mate. GME is important. That's all that matters nowadays. It's true. Until we figured everything else out, nothing else will matter. Never. Thank you so much, Case Guy, for sticking around. Thanks, Tradespotting. I'll do you proud. I know you will. You already do. JC is me, and A makes me proud. Ha! And you're a nice guy. Welcome to the club. You've got some esteemed company there. Grizzle Primate, right? Same with me and the Pi-Fi channel. What the hell is a PO box got to do? Oh yeah, what has a PO box got to do? Because it's not got much to do with anything. We got the PO box. What was it? I texted Rocky the details so that we can definitely get it right now. It's like you can put in to 100% make sure that the whole address is completely perfect. I've got it off the post office, so I'll be able to see what it is whenever I've managed to copy it down, put it in the description, which isn't yet because I never got around to it. It's for sending cookies. Oh, yes. I want to eat some cookies. I want to so very much. What have I eaten today? Why are you going to miss the chats? There are no chats. The chats will never stop. JC is my NFT. Oh, yes. He will be added. That's right. Everyone is added. It's like I'm just giving you more and more work every day, Electro Boy. It's not really fair on you, is it? Electro Boy, nice chap making the NFTs. He's an artistic chap, and he's got a very particular set of skills. I like that phrase. Kimmy, why are you going to miss the chats? There's absolutely no need for you to. The stream chats, that is. Why are you going to miss them? They're still here. It was a clue. What was a clue? Same with me in the Pi-Fi channel. This is Grizzle Primate talking about how a year ago he never thought, hey, I'll be a moderator on a YouTube channel. And then here we are doing this sort of thing. Like, the truth is, I did think a year ago I'd be on YouTube making videos, because I was on YouTube making videos, but they weren't about this. I mean, they were about trading, they were about this, but they weren't about the fucking bastards. And here we are. You know, that's what I mean when I say sour time, sour fight. You don't really have much of a choice if you don't like it. It's like, you're still going to get steamrolled by the baddies. I'm going to work. Going back to work tomorrow, she's going, oh, well done, Kimmy, yo. Going back to work. Good on you. You can just send it on the Discord. If you're not there, just send me a Twitter DM. I'll get it across to Electro Boy or whatever works, Shane. Oh, Sugars, I thought that was JC is me. Shane Bush. You tell it yourself too. You've got my Twitter, obviously. You just send me a message and I'll send it to Electro Boy, or if you're in touch with him, whatever, and I'll send him a list of everybody along with everything, and at that point double check he's got everything and cross check everything and whatnot. But so whatever suits, like either of us will do. Coffee is your friend, Tradespotting. It loves you. It does, but I can't drink it 10:30 at night. Still in my system, I can feel it. I like to draw. Your friend loves you. Question mark. What? Repeat after me. Whoa. I'm so confused. The whole conversation's confusing. Okay, I'm super confused. Right, I'm probably losing viewers because I am so confused. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Made such a good stream today. You were all really nice and all really legends, and all the moderators who keep it going every day. You know, you're really important to me. Thank you so much for all your help in that. And how many likes? 400. 400 likes. Wow. So this is drops off. Is drops off. What was the maximum concurrent viewers? 143. But everyone told me it was different somewhere else. Why is it saying that? Why are you telling me one thing and different concurrent viewers? 400 likes. Is that right? Because it seems low. Maybe it's different stats. Maybe it's different stats. Maybe it's more than 400 likes. It'd be very unusual to be so low. And to have been only 139, but I saw 180 myself, and then people was telling me it was 200. YouTube stats are just set up to design to piss me off. That's what they are. When coffee tomorrow morning. Listen up, Smooth Brains. Head I like, button, subscribe. 489 likes. Thanks, Casey. It is 489. Okay then. Oh, that's not as high as it normally is. Maybe people dislike something. Well, that wouldn't make them not. That would make them dislike. I don't know. Whatever, viewers. You dares wins cuppa. We had 300 over. What is with YouTube stats? Well, I'll probably update later on, and I'll feel bad about nothing for no reason. So if it's still working, and still people are still enjoying it, phew! Thank goodness. I haven't said anything terrible. Great, good news. Aye, thanks for all the smiles, and hello Streamlabs. Viewers. Right, 135 viewers now. Oh, right, that's what it means. Concurrent viewers now. Oh, right, okay. Thought it told me the maximum though. Definitely, maybe that's after it tells me that. Anyway, thank you so much. I see that the stupid ticker didn't work when I was on Sophie there either. Does that work when I'm on GME? Just on over tomorrow. Yeah, it does. Not that tomorrow's all going to have to set it all up again. AMC doesn't work either. Right. Thank you so much, everybody. That's probably all I've got left to say is thanking everybody over and over. Thank you, everybody, especially everybody. No one in particular more than anyone. Thank you, everybody, so much. See you tomorrow at Rocky Stream pre-market, and then me 6